The hair's coming in, bro.
Yeah, slowly but surely.
Birthday boy, you got plans today?
No, no, I
For
don't.
real?
I'm
No.
gonna. My girlfriend's at work today, and she's on a late shift, so we're probably gonna do something on Sunday, um,
Mhm.
when she's off work. And my mom usually makes me a birthday cake every year, but she had surgery on Monday, so she's like not really doing
Mm.
much. So
Is she okay though? About that?
yeah, yeah, it's just like a she had breast cancer a couple years ago. It's just like kind of routine follow-up stuff. Went
Mhm.
totally fine. They had her all doped up on painkillers the last couple of days, so she's feeling great.
Oh
No
wow. Okay.
complaints
Okay.
there.
And then how's the oh no, you're done with the off season now?
Yep, as of like a couple days ago. Yeah.
Okay, so you guys do you and Blue you guys do kind of like an off season into like a health phase,
Health
health
phase,
phase,
yes.
and then y'all go into prep after that, or you go
Yeah. Yeah. So
okay.
basically I'm like 285 right now. I might lose a couple of pounds coming off the drugs for like 6 or 7 weeks. And then February 17th is when I start prep. So I got like what is that, like 6 weeks away from now? Something like that.
think I think I want to try that because usually I go right into it like health phase off season and then straight into prep. I
Yeah,
think I want to try.
I've
Hmm.
seen some people do that, and I've personally never done it. Like I just want to be a little fresher because after a long enough time taking gear, like a full off season, cycle, like I've been doing, I don't want to go into a 15-week prep right after that. Like I've
Yeah,
already been on drugs for that long. I don't feel shitty right now, but I know I would if I kept going for like 4 or 5 more weeks, and then I got like the worst part of prep to get through, and like, it's gonna be a
yeah,
long slog. And I already got like a long season planned out. So
yeah.
I
You,
mean,
you don't want to put yourself through that. It works. It works better for people who don't compete often. Like myself. Like in the past,
mhm.
I competed less like every I don't know 12 to 16 months ish.
Okay.
So there was enough time to come off. But yo, you familiar with Ed Connors?
Yeah, I actually met him a couple of years ago at the USA's. Wait,
Yeah,
no, sorry, not Ed Connors. No. I'm thinking of the gym architect. That's his handle. That's not Ed Connors, is it?
it might be. I think so. Hold
Hold
on, let
on,
me let
I'm
me
gonna
check.
look up his picture.
Yeah, let me check.
The gentleman who used to have all the guys come out to his place. Yeah, Ed
Yeah,
Connors.
him.
Yeah,
Yeah.
I met him in Vegas a couple of years ago at the USA's. He was just there, and I chatted with him for a while. He's a really really cool dude.
Is he still doing that?
Mm-mm. I don't think he
Okay.
lives in LA anymore because the
Oh.
deal with him was he obviously like ran Gold's Venice, and also he would all of the new up and coming pros would like come out and stay with him in LA when he was
Mhm.
running the gym. They'd be out there for a couple of weeks. They'd train. They'd take pictures for the magazines, and he dude, he's had like every big name guy come through his place over the years, and he got to know
Every
all of them.
yeah, every single one, even like the John Cena's.
Yeah, yeah,
Like, but he would go as far as I mean, Chris Aceto. He gave Chris Aceto his start, right? So
yeah.
he had him. He was paying him like well, I don't know what he was paying him, but he had him training the guys at Gold's Venice, right? So he would go as far as getting these people jobs,
Hmm.
home, food. I'm assuming probably drugs because they don't know anybody there,
Maybe.
you know.
Yeah. Probably wasn't too hard if you were in the know back then in fucking Gold's Venice. Yeah.
And he didn't want or expect anything back from these people. Like there was no like payback or like when you make it, take care of me, none of that.
Yeah.
But I bring him up because somebody brought this to my attention. but apparently the other guy, I think it's Mr. Stan. Have you heard of Mr. Stan?
No.
Let me see if I could find it. The Mr. Stan. So, so it's similar to what Ed does, but maybe with a little bit of creep factor to it. Um, but he flies out all these like young guys who are like into bodybuilding, and he gives them money and stuff. And apparently it's like a thing. And this is Mr. Stan, I would assume, right here.
These are like
See the
influencer kids. Yeah, look at them.
Yeah,
None of them
and
is
then
over 200 pounds.
and he looks like he looks like he's about 90 years old over here. Let me see
Really?
it.
The
I
fuck?
don't know. He looks like an old man. But yeah, he flies them out and pays them money. I'm just interested, like what does he expect anything from them, or does he just like being around these teenage boys? I'm not sure what's going on here, but I mean, if he's helping them out like Ed, then that's great. That's
Well,
great.
I
But
mean, to be clear, like Ed was not a he's not a creepy dude at all.
no, not
Like
at all.
Ed was
He
just
never.
like he just
uh,
ran the gym, and he was like I presume he
a
was probably
scout.
connected with the weeders. Yeah, he's like a talent scout basically.
Yeah,
Uh
yeah,
and there he is in the middle. He's like the old guy in the middle, this guy
yeah,
here.
right there. Yeah,
Yeah.
I mean, I feel like it seems a little creepy just because the other guys were still grown men, even though they were young. These look like teenage boys, you know. So it makes it. What's up, David?
Happy birthday, Stewart.
Hey man, thank you.
Which is that? 26?
27. Getting
Yeah,
up
27. Oh,
there. I'm not
oh,
really a
it's
young man anymore, sadly.
what
it's
you
all
doing today?
downhill.
What am I doing? I'm doing a podcast. It's
No shit.
I don't really have any plans. I'm gonna go out to dinner with my girlfriend later this week. She's working right now, but
Okay.
yeah.
Yeah, that's cool.
It's funny because I feel like I always ask people that question, "What you doing for your birthday?" But most bodybuilders, myself included, we don't really do much of anything for a birthday.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Yeah,
but
like a special thing or something like this. Like you said, special syringe with mint that friend gave you.
exactly. Yeah, that's a great birthday present. You know, I might actually send it to Stu, let him try it out.
Thanks, dude.
But
Very
David,
kind of you.
we're talking about this guy.
Piratus
Huh? Yeah, phentamine. Yeah, that's a good one. I might actually send Stu some phentamine for
I
his
could use
birthday.
some of that, man. I'm if I run out of Adderall, I might need some.
You know what? Send me your address. I'm gonna send you like a care pack for your birthday.
Okay.
Yeah, but David, we're talking about this guy named Mr. Stan, and he's apparently like Ed Connors. He flies out all these I can't even say guys, it looks like boys, to I guess to stay with him, and he pays them money and they just hang out and do fun stuff, I guess. I don't know exactly what goes on, but they seem to love him, and he takes care of them. So
sounds weird.
they seem a bit young, is all I'm saying. Like Ed Connors, they were still grown men, and they weren't like going to Disneyland and shit. They were kind of just bodybuilding. But
Yeah,
hey,
everyone
hey,
has his thing.
None of these guys
hey,
actually look like bodybuilders. I
you
mean,
know what? I think he's doing it all wrong. Mr. Stan, send us a DM. Me and Stu fly. Me, Stu, and David out. We'll show you a good time. We'll show you a good time. You know, put some money in our pockets. Give us some juice, some
yeah,
gear.
to Houston.
Do you
Yeah,
guys, by the way, do you guys get like fucked up messages like, would you sell me your feet pictures and so on?
I wish, man. I don't get that shit anymore.
I was just about to say that I don't get it anymore. I used to get it when I was like better looking. I think. I think in my early 20s, I must have been better. But I think these kind of people, I think they like the younger look. Not to say Mr. Stan is one of those people, because I don't
No.
know Mr. Stan, but but generally, I think they go for like the younger bodybuilders. You know, so But let me pull up Ed Connors. You said what's his Instagram, Mister?
The gym architect.
Does he have? Does he actually? Does he post any like old stuff? Or not really.
I don't know.
Architect. Man, I can't
Here,
spell
just get
architect.
rid of the at the beginning.
Oh, okay. Jim. I'm gonna need some help for the architect.
There he
Okay, there
is.
you go. Let's see. See if he
Yeah, man.
posts anything.
When I was speaking to him down there in Vegas, God, that was a while ago now. He was telling me like, he had like all of the who's who come through his place over the years to visit
Yeah,
Venice, and like he said a lot of them were like really kind of fucked up in the head. It's
yeah,
they had issues. A lot of them didn't come out of stable homes. They had,
sure.
they all had a reason to like get into bodybuilding seriously, and it usually wasn't the healthiest reason. So
Well, that kind of sounds like all of us, doesn't
yeah, yeah. I wasn't surprised
it?
to hear that, but
Why did you
No.
guys start it, by the way? Why did you start it, Stu?
or why did I?
Why? Why?
Why did you start bodybuilding?
I was like back in high school, I played sports, and then I kind of when I stopped playing sports, I just needed something to do, and like I just started lifting weights, and I don't know, it just kind of snowballed. I don't really do anything like halfway. I'm kind of all or nothing with all this stuff. So now look at what it's become.
Were you like, because I feel like the old stories you've always been like, I was bullied and then I wanted to get big for the bully.
No, I was always pretty jacked like when I was younger. I never got bullied or anything weird like that. I don't know. I just got really into it, and it gave me a good outlet to put a bunch of negative energy into. I don't really think of it like that anymore though.
Yeah, yeah, for
Uh
sure.
like I'm not in that same mindset that I was like 6, 7, 8 years ago.
Hmm.
So um it's a lot more
It's like
positive now.
it definitely changes, like the way you bodybuild when you start versus 10 years later is a whole different ball game. There's no anger in it anymore. Like even lifting, like there's no like, let me get angry and shake the weights and you don't have that feeling. It's almost like meditation.
Yeah,
I don't have to be,
way less
yeah,
nowadays, which is, I
but
think, probably a good thing. I kind of
I
miss it
think so.
sometimes, but I
Hmm.
mean, I'm just a less angry person generally compared to
Yeah,
back
yeah.
then.
Even
You
when
don't
you are,
even,
for example, on a trend?
I mean, I think Beatty's probably the same way. I don't really get any type of way when I start taking certain drugs anymore. Like, I guess it's just because I've done it so much at this point. That might
mhm.
be it. But yeah, I don't get all like revved up and angry
I
and
don't,
shit.
oh yeah, I
Do you
don't
guys
get
feel
angry on
because
trend.
you probably get loads of questions like when does it stop like being when you are stop when does it stop being this horny and so on, and you're like getting used to it to the way that it's just a normal day for you. You're just
Yeah.
that person now. Before you started it was different, but since, as you said, you were doing it for so long,
Hmm.
it's just a normal you now.
I think
Exactly.
I think like maybe I'm just again I've used these drugs for long enough now that I know how they affect me. I know how to account for it. And I also think I don't get a lot of the sides that some people do, but like bro, like I think people just like talking about drugs and making them seem crazy and exciting and like, oh my God, this stuff is so toxic and it's gonna make you crazy and it'll make you beat your wife and like I have not really experienced that. Like when the first time I ran Tren, which was like in my first cycle actually, which is its own debacle. Like I didn't know what like to expect, and I was like I was being mean to people and rude, and I cut that shit out pretty quick because I realized I was being an asshole. But it just doesn't affect me like that anymore. And
So
people like to
do you
overblow
guys think
stuff.
like at the beginning when you are in real life. For example, when you are an asshole and you use trend, you turn like to a double asshole, and when you are a calm person, it just calms you down even more.
Yeah, I kind of get more focused and more driven nowadays if that's in the max. That's kind of the only thing I notice. I'm also a little more like revved up. You can tell there's like more adrenaline in my system like all the time, but totally manageable. It's generally a good thing. Besides, it's not obviously not good for you internally, but yeah, I feel fine on it for the most part.
I think similar to test, it kind of shows your true colors, right?
Yeah.
And I mean, the first cycle is always a bit more harsh. Uh, I would say the first cycle of trend, you're gonna maybe not act so much like yourself. But I know guys who their girlfriends have told me like he's actually more emotional on trend, or he cries more on trend. I haven't experienced that, but I can see maybe if you're already like that, maybe it could make it worse. Or for me, not anymore, but early on, I would feel maybe like more irritable, maybe less empathetic. You know what I'm saying? To some extent, but for me, my issue sometimes is I could be so blunt that it can come off not rude. I don't think I ever come off rude, but maybe too forward. Maybe sometimes I'm learning that everybody doesn't feel like me, right? You can tell me something straight up and I won't get offended. You can tell me, Beatty, you're fucking fat. Like I could walk straight off the stage. You can be like, Beatty, you're fat. You're not in shape, and I'm not gonna be insulted, right? But if you say that to somebody else, they might be very insulted, right? So I'll say things very matter of fact, and sometimes people will take it wrong. When I'm on trend, I don't think about it. I'll just say exactly what I mean, and then people might not like it. It's not like a deal breaker. Like they'll be mad. They might not talk to me for a couple of days or something, but they'll get over it. So that's the only thing I notice, which I don't think is a bad thing. I don't think anybody can really like cut you off as a friend for being honest, right?
Yeah, so
Yeah, I mean they
you're
weren't a real
using
friend if they get hurt like
yeah,
that.
you're
Exactly.
using the trend mostly when you are on a deficit as well, and people don't get it. That just the hunger itself makes you just, irritable.
Boom.
And I remember you spoke, guys, about the horrible pin stories. I think I've
Mhm.
had the worst one because
Uh-oh.
you had the swelling. I
Yeah.
had the fucking nightmare one because I've pinned
Whoa, that's
DHB
bad.
actually, the
DHB?
DHB,
Oh, jeez.
dihydroboldenon.
Yeah, yeah.
Okay, okay.
Yeah, and I was running it for a while and I pinned it into my shoulder. So, firstly, it became just red. Then I've gotten fever and so on. So my friend told me, do not go to the hospital because they're going to cut you. Because they don't care, they're just going to cut you and
Yeah.
drain you. Yeah. So I started doing it myself, taking the syringe and just taking the uh,
Oh.
blood out of there and the rope, the oil.
Whoa.
Yeah, and I was at the point when I took 150 milliliters from my
Holy
left shoulder,
God.
and then I went down to the tricep because
It
it
starts
went down by the
oozing. Yeah.
gravity. Yeah, so I'm going to my friend back then, and I'm basically walking to his house, and he's like, "Why are you so fucking white?" Because I was, about to faint, and I'm like, "Take the rest of this shit out of me," because I just wanted to get it over with. And we took 190 milliliters of this shit from my hand. Basically, my arm got smaller by 3 centimeters.
That's
Holy
disgusting,
shit.
bro. That
Yeah.
is
That
ugh.
that's all bad. That's all bad. But I did drain my shoulder once, but it wasn't that bad. It was just a one-time thing. And it's pretty nasty. You see like blood and like pus come out. It's pretty disgusting, you know.
Yeah, by the
Bro,
15th time, you were like, you don't care.
I've never done anything like that. That's fucking gross, dude.
Hmm.
Yeah, you wanted to honest thing,
I
then
I like you know how like sometimes you'll get like little floating shit in vials like
yeah,
if a stopper starts falling apart. Like I'm an idiot, and if I see one of those in a syringe that I'm shooting, and it's like halfway through, I'm like, okay, I'm gonna send it. I'm just gonna put it in. I
Oh,
don't want to pull
oh.
this out, And I never have issues with it. I always think like, oh, that was probably dumb, and then there's like no problem. And then
Yeah,
like I've never had anything that crazy, like where I had to
Yeah, and the thing
drain
is that
anything or
it was clear, it was okay until it wasn't. When the
yeah.
shit
yeah.
hit the fan, it hit really bad. It was
Holy
like,
shit.
my shoulder got twice the size. Uh, yeah, it just looked bad.
Thank you for sharing, David.
Yeah.
That's a good story.
I needed
I
someone to, speak to about it.
Well, this is the
I got
place, I
a
guess.
one of my former clients. Yeah, his shoulder got so bad that he would go. I'm not sure exactly who he was going to because I can't imagine it being your regular doctor. But he was going to a clinic or a doctor, and they were draining it for him. But I shit you not, this lasted for like 3-4 weeks. They kept draining it, and
Like
anytime I would train,
one bad shot that he had, or
one
more than one.
one bad shot.
Jeez.
Ask him. He's actually your client now. Don't say his name though, but he's your
Oh,
client now.
oh,
Yeah. So
noted.
that happened to him, and he kept pulling out for like 4. I'm like, bro, you're still draining that same shoulder. He said yes. I'm like, I was scared. I'm like, holy fuck. Because in my head, I'm like, bro, he's gonna lose that arm. I'm
Was
like,
he
they're gonna cut his arm off.
was he taking antibiotics as well on top of that?
I don't remember. I would hope so. I would hope they were giving him antibiotics at that point. Yeah, they had to. They had to have.
If he was going to the doctor, they must have, right?
They had to. Well, what
Damn.
they should have done is what they did to me. They should have sat his ass in the hospital and like admit him and then give him the IV.
Yeah.
Like what the fuck? How much times did the guy have to come back to drain his shoulder? But they told him they're gonna have to cut out the
The
whatever it
piece
is.
of,
The cut up.
The
Yeah.
abscess, yeah.
yeah, because
But he
they're basically leaving you with a hole.
yeah, he didn't do that luckily. But he's good now. He's good. But
There's
his
a guy
shoulders
in Poland. He has
Mhm.
actually like this big of a scar, and he told us that it was because of the draining,
That's all bad, man. That's all
on
bad.
his ass, by the way. When so
Oh,
when he poses, he has to pull his trunks up.
Oh no. You guys saw that Generation 9 movie? I think it's the which one is that? It was about like steroids, I guess. Was it about steroids?
I doubt that Stu has.
I don't like Generation I. They're fucking stupid, man.
But
It's like bodybuilding movie made for normies.
yeah,
And
yeah.
like it's just like catering to the lowest common denominator that doesn't understand anything about what we're doing.
Uh-huh.
It's like made to scare your mom, that's what it feels
Boom.
like.
That's exactly what this movie was.
Yeah.
One of the guys, they're saying this guy used to be a bodybuilder and he had these bad injections in his ass. And now he had to get his butt cheeks like cut out. And then now for the rest of his life, he has to like wear this diaper and get his ass drained every day.
Oh wait, was
And
this the Natty for Life one?
I
Where
think I think that
they're
was the
like
one.
bashing on gear users though. I haven't
Bro,
seen it, but I just remember seeing it
bro.
like they made that.
I'm like, first of all, this guy was not a bodybuilder. He competed, yes, but that's not bodybuilding.
All that
He's
takes
just,
is an NPC card, bro. Like
bro.
that's it.
With all due respect, he was just a random idiot who had no idea what he was fucking doing, and he fucked himself up. But that's not bodybuilding. Like, who the fuck? How do you infect both of your butt cheeks permanently for the rest of your life? Like, what the fuck were you doing? Like, what
But
the fuck were you
imagine,
doing?
yeah, as you said, he was like pinning the one, it got bad, so he's like, basically sitting on his left ass cheek only because the
Yeah,
right is infected. So he's like, yeah, that's a good idea to pin the left one as well with the same juice. Are you fucking
yeah, but
stupid? Are you a
it
fucking
was
idiot?
it was bad. They tried to make it look really like he was living with his. I think he was living with his mom, and she was changing his diapers, and
Diapers.
it was just sad to watch. I'm like, why would he even agree to be in this movie at this point? Because they kind of like ridiculing him. Like, look at this dumbass, basically. You
And
know,
what did they do to Phil Heath? They basically made him look like, like Kai Green is this, poor guy that we have to hug and send the warm messages. and he's the villain that, you know, fucks it all up, and he's about to,
bro.
you know, that he was just given everything on the golden plate, and
Bro, if you just do the math, by that time in his career, Kai was not a poor man, because
no.
Kai was a
No.
very successful man. Now, what I will say is, I actually lived right like a few blocks from him at one point, right, and he would choose to stay in the hood on purpose just because he felt more comfortable there. That doesn't mean that he didn't have a condo in downtown Brooklyn. He's choosing to be there because his friends are there. He's comfortable there. But at any moment, he can go stay at his downtown Brooklyn
Yeah.
spot. So he wasn't faking that he was staying there, but it's kind of disingenuous to act like he was living in the projects because he had no choice. He was living in the projects because he felt like it. He
I
just
remember one of the Dave Pulcinella documentaries. There
yeah.
was like Overkill, and there's one other one. In one of those, he was Dave is narrating over it, and he's like, "So Kai no longer lives here, but he still
Oh, you
keeps
said
his
it.
old apartment. Yeah, and he's
That's
like
smart.
cooking fish in some shitty little tiny apartment, but he's got a condo somewhere else." But like for the documentary, he's like, cooking fish in a big pan,
Yeah, yeah.
shitty old pan there. It's like, dude, this is a little disingenuous.
Kai is strange in that way. Honestly, I feel like he likes that. I don't think he likes for anybody to feel like this guy is successful. I think he's so used to being poor that he's comfortable with that. That people view him that way. I don't think he ever wants to look like, wow, this guy is successful. I don't think he's
Yeah.
comfortable looking
I'll,
like that.
I'll
You
bet
I
know.
he
think
I'll
that
bet he
it's
kind of
even
misses it too. Like those are probably some of the best years of his life in his mind, like when he was like coming up through the ranks and like, he was like nose to the grindstone, he didn't have anything going for him. And
Yeah,
like once
yeah.
you've made it, it's kind of like it's got to be a mind fuck. Like, oh,
I,
this
I
shit
can
is
see that.
easier now, you
Guys, I
know?
think it's just the generation Iron and those people just wanted to create this persona, and he was like, yeah, I don't give a flying, so he just kept doing what they told him to get some money.
Yeah.
And
To be
I'm not
honest,
saying,
uh-huh.
I'm not saying that it's his act or something like
Mhm.
this, but they wanted to persuade him and portray him the way that he's just this guy who is hurt, who is,
Mhm.
poor and so on, and they wanted to even over made it like more and more, visible that
Dramatic.
he's this way.
To be honest, bro, I think they capitalized on it. But what I'm
Yeah,
saying
exactly.
is, he did that regardless of them. Even with Generation Iron William did, he trained at the same gym as me, and he lived like down the block from me. But he wasn't doing that for the cameras. There was no cameras there. He's just comfortable doing that now. Like it's did they use that to their advantage? I believe so, but I don't think they were like, hey, Kai, come stay, because he was already staying there by choice. You know what I'm saying? So it wasn't like they told him, hey, don't stay in Brooklyn. I mean, they could have showed that, right? But they chose not to show it. Like Dave Posanella was being more honest, right? Because he mentioned it. Dave didn't have to mention that. But he chose to mention it because he doesn't want to be disingenuous, to be like, oh, this is just where he lives, right? So they narrate the story in a way that works for them. But I don't believe Kai was doing that for the cameras. I honestly just believe Kai just prefers living that way, because as long as you have the choice, you're fine, right? Like, you can choose to shop at Smart and Final, even if you know you can afford Whole Foods, right? You know what I'm saying? And you gotta keep in mind, these people, like, he's just so used to that. I think he's just honestly comfortable doing that. But he did one with Dave Palumbo. That one was real. He was actually broke at that time. But when Dave paid for all his food, you saw that one?
No. What was that?
That one, it was that was like maybe his first actual day in the life video, and they was like
Damn.
pissing the elevators, and he was in the projects. That was a real one. That was before he actually made money.
The
So that
one
was
when he didn't have even money to compete, and when he got this Best Poser Award, yeah?
That one, yeah. That was when times were hard. And Dave goes in the projects, and you can tell Dave is like, "What the fuck?" Like, he's never been in that environment. He's like, "What the fuck is going on?" Like, legit. He's like, "Is this like human piss or dog piss?" And Kai is like, "Oh my god," he didn't want to say it. He's like,
I just imagine Dave being in that environment. He'd be like, "What is this?" Oh man, that would be so funny.
he's so because you can't really explain it. Like, why do people piss in the elevator? Who the fuck knows? I
There's
don't know if
no
they
good
come
reason to do that. Yeah.
like because
With so
being
many places to piss, why do you choose the elevator?
bro, it's like if you come from the club and
That's
you gotta take a piss or something, you're already in the building. You can't make it to your apartment before you take a piss. Like what the fuck is
I'll bet
I don't
everybody in Poland does that. They just piss wherever they like.
We have trees.
You have
Oh man.
trees. Yeah, we do fire hydrants here in the States.
Yeah. I mean, but I mean, I would tell you this though: if I had a condo downtown, I definitely wouldn't be staying in the projects. You know, but the only part I can relate is you do get comfortable because when I first moved from like mid city La Brea area to like a nicer neighborhood, I didn't really care to move. I was like, I'm making I'm making a lot more money now. I'm fine. I don't necessarily need to move. I'm comfortable as long as I'm making good money. I don't really care. But then
Yeah.
once you move away, then you're like, I'm never going back to that piece of
Yeah,
shit.
well, it's
There's
like
no way.
it's lifestyle creep, you know. It's like yeah, you might start out driving a Toyota Corolla, which is a great fucking car. You don't like it's a perfectly good car, right?
No,
But if
no
you go and
issue.
get yourself a Benz, like you don't want to go back to a Corolla
No,
now, you know? It's
you
like
can't go
these
back.
leather seats are nice, man. You
Yeah,
know?
you can't go back. Well, the issue is because Kai didn't start making good money till he was like what his mid thirties, right? So it
Yeah.
was probably so long. Like I started making decent money maybe like in my like mid late 20s, right? So if I had to wait another 10 years, I might be like, I don't think Kai even owns a car till today. You ever seen Kai driving a car? I've
No,
never
they're
seen him
like,
drive.
there are some people that, as you said, like being, I mean, their comfort comes from being uncomfortable. Same
Yeah,
with Levroni. You heard the
yeah.
stories that he used to sleep on the, floor to feel like on the war. I don't know how much of it it's, like creating a story or drama, but actually about Levron, I would be quite sure that he's been doing it
Me too. Yeah, me
because
No,
too.
I totally like I know exactly what they mean because like I've never been broke by any means,
Mhm.
right? But like I definitely have in the last year or two, you know, I was making pretty decent money down in Arizona working there. You know, I've let my lifestyle creep a little more than I'd like to. And like I just kind of have luxuries that I didn't used to have. They don't necessarily need, but now that I have them, it's like it's made me kind of lazy, you know?
It
I,
does.
yeah,
and I don't like it. Like I kind of think back a couple of years ago when I was like pinching pennies on everything just because that's the way I am, not because I had to. And I'm like, man, I kind of miss that. You know, shit was harder, and like because things were harder, because I made them harder for myself, like I respected myself more, you know?
For sure. Yeah,
Like honestly, this year I kind of want to go back to that. Like
I know what you
just
mean.
strip away bullshit. Because it literally like it made me a better bodybuilder. Because there was like no room for bullshit, you know, there was no time in the day. And, you know, I think I performed better.
Once you don't have to show up for work and you get to create your own schedule, like right now, right? I have clients, but like I could wake up whenever the fuck I want. I could sleep whenever I want. I could
Yeah.
choose to be like, I don't want to train a client today, and I'll be fine. I'll be able to pay my bills. But that does make you kind of like on the lazier side. There was a
Yeah.
time where I was working all day nonstop, and I had no issue with it. I wasn't like, oh my god, I'm so tired. I was completely fine. I'm like, okay, another job, boom, another. I got bodyguard work, I got bouncing, I got training. Cool, get it done. Now I could have one client, bro. I sit you now one client a day, and I'm like, oh, oh, time to go train this client. Oh wow, oh, I'm tired. You know,
Yeah.
it's like how lazy can you get? It's like what the fuck? The same guy who was working all day, 7 days a week, literally 7 days a week, and now let me have fucking 2 clients a day, and I'm like, oh my god, oh, a busy
But
day
as Stu
today, man.
said, what made you better person, better bodybuilder? Those times when you were poor and when you were striving, or now when you're actually lazy and you're like, for example, when because many people aren't grateful for the place we are now. I
Mhm.
was at the place when I had to work like 14 hours a day. You as well. Stu as well had to do some work outside of his house, and when we sometimes forget about these times, where we were and when we are now, and we're like, yeah, I look shit and so on. It makes us want to give up doing what we are doing, just because we are not yet on the level where we want to be. But actually, looking at our past, we would never imagine that, for example, we would be sitting like right now, it's whatever hour it is, and you are able to, speak to your friends and get
Hmm.
money for it.
Yeah, good
Yeah.
point. Good point. Yeah.
I
Oh,
miss it though, man. I honestly miss it. I need to like I said, strip away the fat with a lot of like my lifestyle, start getting up early again and you know, be disciplined because like I'm sloppier than I used to be, even with like, when I eat my meals and when I wake up, all this little shit and it adds up. I don't like it. I don't like the way that I'm carrying out my life right now, which is it's embarrassing to admit that, but it's true. Like I gotta be honest with myself.
yeah, yeah. I think you have to give yourself like a hard structure. Instead
Yeah.
of being like, okay, I'm gonna do my fasted cardio when I wake up. Instead, be like, I'm gonna do my fasted cardio at 9 a.m. Like I'm gonna wake up at 9 a.m. and I'm gonna do it. And then I'm gonna have my meal one at 11 sharp. Like, without giving yourself leeway, be like, okay, I got 6 meals, I got 15 hours, baby. I could just do what the fuck I want.
Yeah.
I think you
But
gotta
on
give
the other
yourself
hand,
hard rules.
like when Stu is now making an incredible progress, and when he, for example, would change, like now he's waking up at 1 a.m., yeah, and he would wake up like 2 hours earlier, and it would actually perhaps because he would, be not be to not sleep this much, be not rested, and so on, and it might actually affect his progress. So we have to look at this on the both sides, not only us,
Appreciate it.
because if you are making a great progress, why would you change anything? It's like
Well,
with
exactly. That's the trap I've fallen into. It's like, yeah, I'm less good with all this, the little stuff with the bodybuilding because I'm not as locked into like a work schedule, right? And I am getting away with it, but I look at my day and I'm like, I don't like the day that I just had because I wasn't on top of all this little shit. So every
Yeah,
day
so you
when I go
just
to
have to
sleep,
look at the little shit, not skip and drop the things that actually make you better.
Yeah, yeah.
yeah,
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 it's like,
I just need to
it's like
dial in on that
changing a
stuff.
coach because many pros do it. They, for example, win a few shows and yet they change a coach because they think that they could be fuller, they could be drier, and so on, that the grass is greener somewhere.
Mhm.
That's the same way of thinking, It's not, it might actually fuck things up so much because, for example, you will be sleeping less, you won't make as much progress, you will lose, you won't place that good, you won't get sponsorships, and that might just fall.
Yeah. Part of me wants like another business that has nothing to do with fitness or working out or anything. I kind of do with the security thing that me and my boy do, but I want something else. Like security, you can make some money, but I mean, I want even more money. You know, if I could get something, I don't know what it is. At one point, I was like maybe cannabis, maybe, but that shit is saturated at this point. And
Very,
that takes a
very
while.
saturated. Yeah.
You know, so I can't put a finger on it, but once I find it, I want something that has nothing to do with bodybuilding whatsoever. I think that's where one of my friends told me that before. He was like, at some point you want a business that has nothing to do with your body, physique, working out, because at one point in your life, that's not going to mean a lot to you. You know, even if we come out here and break down shows, there's going to be a time where bodybuilding is just not that important to you. And even at this point in my life, it's not as important as it was 6 years ago. I still love it. Don't get me wrong, but it's different. You know, back then if somebody asked you, "What would you do to be Mr. Olympia?" You'd be like, "Oh man, I'll fucking punch my mom in the face to be Mr. Olympia." You know, but nowadays you kind of like, I
Yeah,
mean,
we're getting
I'm
old and
gonna.
jaded, dude. It's fitting that we talk about this on my 27th birthday.
Well,
We're gonna do it here.
Priorities change.
exactly.
Yeah,
Basically, at this point, most of us we're gonna compete until we don't want to. You know,
yeah,
until we don't feel the like. When Ian retired, I'm like, good for him. I mean, listen, if you don't want to do it, it's irrelevant how good you can be or what your potential is. If you do not want to do this and you're miserable, you're like, oh my god, I hate this. Well, why would you do it?
yeah.
It's
You don't
too
want to
much.
put yourself in the position where you are forced to compete, in order to make a living, in order to, publicize yourself for
Mhm.
contract's sake. That's not a good place to be.
That's bro. You remember? You remember when Tyson started fighting for money, bro? That was bro. That was so embarrassing because we looked at Tyson as this fucking god, right? And then he's getting beat up, and he's like, honestly, I just did this match to get money, and I'm like, I can't believe Tyson actually just admitted that. But it shows in your fighting. It's like once you get to that point, bro, find something else, bro. Because Tyson was in that ring getting beat up. Nobody wants to see Tyson get beat up, but he just
Yeah,
didn't care. He just
and
didn't care for that point.
yeah, you don't want to put yourself in that position. So like
No,
when you are being, when you are successful in the sport, like you need to set yourself up for, afterwards, which is
exactly.
easier said than done. Because what it entails is like you have to reinvent yourself. If your entire identity is, being a competitive bodybuilder and being good at that, then trying to change that is um
It's a lot.
look at like any athlete when they're done competing at whether it's football or whatever. It's like, what do they do with themselves? A lot of them have trouble because that's their
Oh
whole
yeah.
life.
Oh yeah. Well, speaking of reinventing yourself, we got is this new? Or this is the pinned comment? How
But
can you tell?
James is so crazy. Like he posts like 5 times a day, it seems like.
What the fuck?
Yeah, look at how many posts he has on his profile. It's
You're
like
right.
thousands. It's
He
not
does post a lot.
9,200 posts. I have like 230.
I thought that I post a lot. But
If
yeah,
it's
if I'd be fucking doing this, I'd be posting it all the time as
Yeah.
well.
yeah, he's pretty yeah, but
It's a fucking nightmare.
James is somebody who can you can tell he's at the point of his life where he's only doing bodybuilding if he can enjoy it. Well, he actually says it. He's like that's why he kind of like even though he's working with Milos, he does like his what do you call it? Like it's like a joint effort, right? Because he gets pleasure, he says, from like being a part of his prep, right? Something like that, something along those lines. And like he's only gonna do it the way he loves to do it. He likes the cheat days and the high calorie days. His body does need it actually, but he's only gonna do it in the way he enjoys it, which I can understand that. I can understand it. That happened to me last year. Okay. That's part of why I coached myself also last year doing the USAs. I just felt like my last prep was so miserable. I was like, huh. Okay, you're gonna be miserable regardless prepping for a show. We know that. But it was like it's one thing to have like be miserable because you're hungry and tired, and to be miserable because you don't really feel like doing it at all, you know. And I didn't want that, so I got to do it in the way I enjoy it. And then last year, I kind of found like my love again for it. So I'm like, okay, I needed that year to do it my way and fall in love with it again. Because if not, I'm just not gonna last. You know what I'm saying? So if I didn't have that year, I probably would have been like, fuck this shit. You know what I'm saying? So
Yeah. I wonder what
James,
James does when he's done competing because I think he's in like mid 30s now, right? It's like
James
30,
is like 34.
34. Okay, that sounds about right.
he got
I
a
mean,
he got
because
a
his draw is like being freakishly strong and like, being like grainy. And also, he has a personality too. Don't get me wrong, right? But like as far as Instagram and getting attention on there, like that's what pulls the eyeballs for him. Like I don't know if he coaches people. I think he has at some point. I don't know if he still does,
He
but
doesn't now, I think, because
okay.
I think that he's going to have nothing in common with bodybuilding as
Yeah,
he will be all over the place as because he once climbed this Kilimanjaro thing and so on. He's not a one-dimensional person. He
Yeah.
has like loads of hobbies, like gaming. He was, skating before. He's a really, really, really interesting guy, and
hmm
I
And
don't
that's
think
that's
that
what's gonna make him like appealing when he's done with the stage.
it's the same as Ian, he's just
yeah.
changed, and yet people are still following him, and even more people are right now following him.
I agree. I think James will do surprisingly really well. A lot better than we even think he's gonna do, right? So on YouTube, he has over 100K subs, right? He
Really?
doesn't
Oh
need
wow. I
he
didn't know
doesn't
that.
even he doesn't he's not even super active on YouTube.
Have you guys seen this video of him being painted as God of War?
Yes.
Yeah.
I was
It
gonna
has
say
like
that
5 millions of views.
exactly. James is really popular in the video game and kind of comic book scene as well, which is something we don't see. I think when he retires, he's going to capitalize on. I mean, he's still going to be pretty big, I'm sure. I think he's going to capitalize on that. And I think because of his personality and things he talks about, he's going to attract a lot of people outside of bodybuilding. He's gonna get more into being the real him.
Hope
I
Yeah,
see
so.
he's
him.
in the gym now with Jordan, so he's going to have another source of income.
James is so much deeper than bodybuilding that if anything, bodybuilding might be limiting his creativity and who he really is. I think James is somebody after bodybuilding, he's going to be far more successful when he doesn't have to stay on top of the meals and training. I think he's going to be more successful. In bodybuilding, it's hard for us to see outside of bodybuilding. So, anytime you see a bodybuilder, and I remember Jason Huh, right?
Yeah.
He was on Dave Palumbo's show. This is a long time ago, before he got really popular with the supplement company and still, right? And then he's like, "Yeah, I just started a supplement company." And Dave's like, "Oh, where did you get the money to start all this?" He's like, "I make money." He's like, "People think bodybuilders are just dumb bodybuilders, right? There's no way a bodybuilder can just have 50, 100K lying around. A lot of them do. Like, there's so much outside of bodybuilding
A
that
lot of them don't. Like the
a lot of them
guys who
don't."
are like all the
Yeah.
chips in on competing and nothing else, like yeah, they're not doing great. But
Most people assume that we're all in the mindset that we were in our early 20s. A lot of us aren't, right? So for me, I can relate with somebody like James because my brain works a lot deeper than bodybuilding. I love bodybuilding, but I'm so much deeper than bodybuilding. You wouldn't even know this because I do a bodybuilding podcast, but I can do a podcast on any topic, and you'll be surprised how deep I can go. So I know if
tell
I
me how deep you can go, Beatty.
so
That's his
if I
birthday, so go on.
you gotta keep going. So if I ever sat with James and talked to James, it would blow your minds and kind of because I can see it in other people when somebody's brain is at that frequency. I can tell it. I can see it right away.
Why don't you
So
invite him then?
I should. Yeah, he
We
he probably he
should, yeah.
probably he probably would
Yeah,
actually come on. Yeah, and
yeah,
we're
he
gonna talk
would
about.
actually. I'm pretty sure he would.
I think so too. And we would talk about everything besides bodybuilding, right? And that's going to get interesting. But yeah, I think people assume that when you're in bodybuilding, there's okay. Same way like Dave Palumbo talk about, oh, Bumstead's followers have to be. I can't see how it's real, right? Because we can't fathom a bodybuilder actually being so big and important. You know what I'm saying? Like we want the sport to grow, but we can't fathom somebody actually being that successful. It's a weird thing, right? Anytime a
Well, yeah,
bodybuilder, you know.
we get fixated on the competitive side, and like I'm guilty of this. Like that's most of what I care about. Like I like talking about shows and like how people look and like all that stuff because I'm so neck deep in it, and a lot of us are. But
Yeah,
yeah, there's a lot more that's actually really a lot more important to more people. That's
exactly.
not on the stage. That's the most important thing, really.
you can eat 6 meals a day and train once a day and do cardio and still be able to do everything that everybody else can do. The same way I can walk into zoo culture and there's a 22-year-old that's a multimillionaire and nobody bats an eye. But if I'm a bodybuilder and I'm like, I'm a multimillionaire, everybody be like, really? That's strange. How? It's like the same way that the other kid is. Like we can do other things too. I think we just limit ourselves because we don't believe like we can do it sometimes. But I
I
personally
think,
believe.
I
Mhm.
mean, I think a lot of us fall into the trap of like, how did everybody used to make money back in the 2000s? And,
Mhm.
it was big supplement contracts, and they were big contracts back then. It was magazine contracts. It was guest posings. And there's like, certain avenues that, big professional bodybuilders are supposed to go down to make money, right? But it's only so scalable, if your contract is 10 grand a month, say back in 2005, that's a lot of money, but it's not 100 grand a month, so like the,
Exactly.
the idea of scaling it beyond that is like you're inherently limited just by you're one person and you can only do so many
Yeah.
guest postings, so you only do so many shows and etc., right? um
Yeah.
and so you're not going to become a millionaire doing that unless you're
No.
just
No.
insanely good. But
Yes.
if you scale your coaching stuff, if you do other businesses, oh boy, Megan, come here. Oh, hold on. Come
What's
here.
good?
Come
What's
here.
going
Give me
on?
that. Give me the balloon. Look at
Birthday
this.
balloons.
Yeah.
Oh wow! Uh, happy
Thanks,
birthday to
babe.
Stu.
What
See, I
the?
get I get pampered, dude. I'm so
That's
lucky.
dinosaur.
That's dope. That's
It's
dope.
a very big dinosaur. Whew, look at that. It's bigger than me.
That's dope. That's dope.
Sorry, what were we
No,
talking about?
oh, we were talking about yeah. I mean, but because you said it's hard to scale it up, unless you're really good. One thing. Okay, sometimes being like a really good bodybuilder straight from the straight from the jump can actually limit your way of thinking, right? Whereas
Yes.
whereas for me, I'm like, okay, I remember being in my early 20s, like, oh, if only I had a sponsor like these other guys. If I had a sponsor, I would really make it. And then I'm like, yo, these sponsors aren't coming. I'm like, they're not coming.
And
So,
you know
so
what? Like maybe back in the day it was different, but like sponsors are going to pay you as little as they can
um,
and get away with it. That
exactly.
that is the game that we're in. And they like that number is just less and less now because there's like a TikTok kid with 100,000 followers who's
Yeah, that's
more
why
valuable
people,
than you.
that's why people can't believe that
Yeah.
actually CBOM is dropping some kind of offers like, 400K a month or something like this, because people don't get one thing, that most of intelligent bodybuilders, first of all, if you notice, they are not placing in top 10. I don't mean that top 10 is stupid. I just mean
I know
that
what you
people
mean.
that make loads of money are not so focused on the bodybuilding.
Boom. Yeah, yeah, yeah.
The second thing, people don't get another thing, that CBAM wants to be his own sponsor, that he doesn't need like Versace or something like this, which, as you said, are going to cut as much as they can, not to give it to CBAM. CBAM wants his own legacy, and that's what same has been done by Jay, same has been done by Asito, and so on. They have
Mhm.
invested into their own things, their own properties, and so on, and they are the ones who are making loads of money towards the company who's going.
100%.
For example, if I'm a sponsor of Stu, if I'm paying Stu 5K, I want him to make at least 20 to me,
Of
because
course, yeah.
and that's
That's
the
the
way
only
the
way it
world
works.
works.
Yeah.
Yes.
So yeah, so okay, in my early 20s, right at that point, everybody wanted sponsorships. We want the sponsorships that look at Nick Trigili, he's 24 and he got the muscle meds thing. That's what we all wanted, right? And then once I realized, okay, this is not coming, I can't rely on this because I need money right now. That's when I started getting creative. How the fuck do I make money? And it got to a point I almost felt jaded. I'm like, you know what? I don't want a sponsor. I don't want one, you know. And then once I got into that mindset, that was perfect because I don't need one, you know, and I don't care for one. You know, if anything, I prefer it because I can talk freely about anything. I'll get free clothes from any brand and I can wear what the fuck I want, which is perfect because I like different shit. I like the oversized tees from Gasp, but I don't like their pants. I don't. I like crazy wear pants, you know, but I don't necessarily like their tanks. You know, sorry for saying that because they sent me so much shit. I'm sorry if I said I don't want to offend you guys, but yeah, but
Look
I
at
like
him.
their
He's
pants.
bought and paid for.
Oh man, I blew my spot. But like I like certain shit, so I don't want to have to say I only like this creatine, I only like these pants when that's not the truth. So if I could screenshot right now my request section for my DMs. There's quite a few companies with clothing or supplements. I haven't even opened it. And no offense, but I don't care. Let's be real. What the fuck you think they're gonna pay me? They're gonna be like, "Oh, Beatty, we're gonna pay you, you know, 10 grand a week." No, it's gonna be chump change. I don't give a fuck about no chump change. So why even open it and have the discussion? You know, most people, oh, well, just see what they have to offer. They have nothing to offer me. Let's be real. I'm not fucking a top 10 Olympian. I'm just a guy who's not even pro. So there's no offer that's gonna be in my in my comfortable range, right? So there's no point now when I'm at a point where I am pro and maybe my following is bigger. Then I'll be down to open it because then there will be something more to offer me. I'm not stupid, you know what I'm saying? So I joke around and everything, but I'm a lot more intelligent than I actually look, right? So you know what I'm saying. So
That's not
things
hard.
that, so that's the thing. So that they might say something. They might think it's a good offer, right? Well, this guy's, you know, he's been competing. He's not a pro. Okay, this would be a good offer for amateur bodybuilder, not knowing that I'm 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 doing okay, bro. I don't need I don't need a couple of grand, you know what I'm saying? So
You
I'd
know, I
rather not
actually
even
work
do it.
with two companies. One are peptides and so on, and they don't care what I say. You know, they care as much as I say the truth. If I
Mhm.
lie, they would be mad actually. And the second company is a wholesaler, so I can choose whichever creatine I want to speak about, whichever
Perfect.
protein and so on.
I like that.
That's how I always wanted it to be. I didn't want it to be, you know, like I mean, it depends because if you are getting, you know, to a company like Raw, for example, or when you get offered big like this, your
Different, yeah.
view may
Well,
change, you know. But
who is Raw
actually
paying big
now,
money?
yeah, but actually now I'm on a
Give
good
a fuck.
spot with them because I can say whatever I want. I don't have to, you know, I'm not forced to, you know, like sell this product from this company and say that it's best, even if it's shit. I just pick which I use. And I'm honestly saying and telling, you know, I use this, and that. And this is a shit, for example. I don't like this company.
Yeah, yeah. That's a good point though. Who is Raw actually paying big money? Maybe Ian, if Ian's still with Raw?
I
I
heard
think
that they
so.
signed Ramon.
They did.
Really?
Well, he's probably gonna make good money because Ramon was making, I think he was making seven figures in Brazil. I don't think he's making seven figures now, but I'm
Well,
sure
I
he's making a
mean,
lot of money.
dude, the thing about Raw, like from what I know, a couple of people who are with them, affiliated or whatever, and like nobody gets paid besides like the top couple of guys at that company. Everyone else just gets, it's free product. So
Mhm.
that's it.
I would assume Ian, Ramon, and maybe that what's the guy's name? I'm sorry. The guy that got the Vaughn something Vaughn
Ron
Walker.
Bartley?
Vaughn Walker.
Oh,
That's a real name, right?
I don't know
Vaughn Walker.
Walker, but Devon Bartley is a bodybuilder, right? I feel like I've heard that name before.
But this
There's
guy
some
is not
called
a bodybuilder, I think, as
no, he's like an
like
influencer.
Oh,
yeah.
okay.
Yeah, because they made something called Vaughn's Treats, right? So if they make something based off of your name, I would assume either you have like some kind of partnership, maybe a percentage, or you make good money at least.
You
I don't
must have
know.
like same as Evans and Topani has with Animal,
Yeah,
with his
exactly.
animal meals because he helped to create them. and he actually has some percent.
Exactly. So Bum said is one of those guys. He's smart, right? Because okay, could he have gotten like I mean, he could have gotten a contract even with Raw that could pay him ridiculous money, probably 7-figure contract. Not probably, definitely 7-figure contract, right? But he's smart enough to know always take a percentage over overpay. Always take a percentage because it can sound small. You can say, well, what's 5%? What's 10%? That's not much. But imagine if you had 5% of Gymshark and they're a multi-billion-dollar company now. That's a lot better than getting fucking 7 figures, right? You know, so when you do the math, it's always better to take a percentage. You know, so especially knowing that you're gonna be their biggest influencer and the owner at the same time. You can't beat that. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
So
Once
you're
upon
bringing.
a time, I think Nick was when he was still before he split with Matt, you know,
He was
and then
on
he
Raw,
he
right?
like, oh well, I don't think he was ever with the company, but he was, I think he had a percentage of it or something like
Oh,
that, and he sold it when he split with Matt, and then they got back together
really?
later. Yeah,
Oh,
but
that would have
uh,
been a big piece of
don't quote me
pie.
on that, but I think that was the story.
If it's not true, he's definitely gonna send me a DM and be like, "That's
Yeah.
bullshit."
If he watches this, I don't know if he does, but
he does watch it.
oh
Like
no,
after,
really?
yeah, no, he usually sends me like a DM. Like the last podcast, he sent me a picture of his back. Remember, we said because there was no back picture, right? Remember?
The
Oh yeah.
hamstrings are still.
Yeah,
Yeah,
oh yeah, yeah.
and you were like, why would he not post a back pic if that's his best shot? Because it is his best shot.
Yeah.
I think I was like, oh, maybe there's some information there. And then he literally sent me a pic of his back, and I'm like, yeah, I don't see any information there. He said there
He
is
looks
information, but
yeah,
it looks just.
maybe he was
It
over
look,
like I'm sure it looks really good. I remember he posted something like a week or two ago and I was like, doesn't look like there's anything wrong with your hamstring, dude.
no,
Like you
no, it
look good.
doesn't. Yeah, yeah,
And he's training on it again, so I'm
yeah.
glad he's back to doing his thing.
But Nick,
Hi,
hey,
hi Nick. Good to see you.
don't be shy, Nick. Come on, hop on the podcast. Don't be. We're not gonna ask you the boring ass questions. Hey, how does your hamstring feel? How would
Nick
you?
don't
How
fuck
would?
with podcasts, dude. I don't
Nah,
think
he
he
don't.
likes them very much.
I don't think so. Either. Oh, but it's like, but also it's like I feel like you do get tired of the same questions, right? Because if he comes on most podcasts, he's gonna be like, "How would you place at the Olympia?" Of course,
Oh God, yeah.
you know.
But
I want to.
imagine what he had to go through when he was there on a wheelchair on the Olympia,
Oh
and
my
they were
God.
all the time asking him like, bro, you could have won.
Yeah,
Him,
yeah,
inside himself, I'm really really happy and proud of him that he didn't slap anyone.
yeah,
Yeah, because
If he could have
I
stood up, he
imagine
probably
that,
would have. I mean, fuck.
like 100 questions, he was like,
yeah, yeah.
That would have been
I'm
torture, man. Fuck that.
I'm gonna ask him exactly the opposite of what everybody else is gonna ask him. It's not gonna be, "Are you
so you're
doing the
going to ask him
Arnold's?"
like, how are your quads towards the hamstrings?
What you mean?
Totally opposite. So
Yeah,
when you ask about hamstring, you're gonna ask about the quad.
good one. No, yeah. So but basically, like, just we just shoot the shit. Like, we don't really ask like X and O questions unless we're answering fan questions. You know what I'm saying? And
Yeah,
So
but
let's say that you would be able to interview Arnold. What 2 questions you would ask him?
what the fuck
uh,
would we even ask him, dude? I
I
don't.
would ask Arnold who was better, Maria Shriver or the maid.
He's not coming here.
Bro.
That was way out of bounds. I'm sorry. That
I
was way
think
out of bounds.
I think the best thing to ask Arnold would be like stories from back in the day. Because like they were
Yeah,
wild back in the 70s, man.
yeah,
Yeah,
yeah.
imagine that
I was,
you probably heard that he was like playing darts with needle on
yeah.
Science ass. Have
What?
you heard about it? Yeah, they were like, they were like, Zayn was standing there and he was like, shooting the shot with Primo, for
Yeah.
example, like with a dart on his ass.
I'm gonna ask Arnold pick one. Mint or shark cartilage.
Shark cartilage.
I'm gonna have to edit out that other question because
I
you
don't
know
think
what's
you
funny?
would.
No, you know what's funny? Like I feel like my sense of humor is like a little dark sometimes or like over the top, but it's always just a joke. But I think sometimes people,
What a
not
fucked
Arnold,
up, what fucked up society we live in that you have to explain that it was a joke.
well,
It's America, dude. It's
You
how it
know,
is.
it's like you always have to say, it's like, for example, commenting on the bodybuilding scene. You're like, yeah, he has a really good hamstrings, and firstly you have to compliment everyone, lick his balls, and then you
yeah,
are able to say that, for example, but you can't say that he has shit back. You have to narrate it like he could have worked harder on his back, and when he comes after two off seasons later, what the fuck? You can't just say that
yeah,
his back needs work and that's all. You know, when
yeah,
Ronaldo shits his match, people are just saying Ronaldo fucked up.
yeah, yeah.
It should
There,
be the same with the sport. If you want to call it a sport, let's be
you
honest
gotta
with it.
be. There was one joke I made. I didn't think it was a big deal. It was just a joke, like we always do. And I won't say the name, but this person, bro, he hates me now, and I'm like, damn, like I I I, I have no issue with you. Like I think you're amazing. I think you have a crazy physique, and I have no. It was literally just a joke. It was not personal at all. But this guy, he don't like me. I'm like, damn. But to each his own. Like I can't tell him how to feel. It is what it is. I've already told him like literally it's literally a joke. I think you're great. I think you're gonna be really good. There's no issue. It was just I was just being I was just being funny. Sometimes I like to throw jokes in here to keep it light, but
Yeah,
some people
I
just
mean,
just not gonna like
you're
it.
fighting against like, personalities where like, they might be getting over years of insecurity and,
Yeah,
maybe
yeah,
they were bullied when they were kids and it's like, their fucking walls are up all the time. They're like they
for
feel like
sure.
they got to defend themselves against everything. I get it, you don't like
Yeah,
getting
yeah.
critiqued. It hurts, but like coming from us, it's not coming from a bad place. We want to see everybody win,
No, no.
you
Okay,
know?
let's say Stu was on a podcast and maybe, I was dieting and he said something and it rubbed me wrong. And I'm like, oh fuck, I didn't like that. But if Stu actually messages me like, hey, I just want to make sure like there's no bad blood here because I'm getting the feeling that maybe there's, and I'll be like, hey, what's up? And if Stu's like, yo, honestly, I want to apologize if I offended you. I was literally just making a joke. It could have went to anybody. I was just making a joke. I would be like, you know what? Yeah, I could see that. So, Stu, yeah, you're a cool guy. I get it. I just felt some kind of way. No issue. But that wasn't the case. That wasn't the case. He just wasn't feeling it. He just wasn't feeling it.
I think a lot of this stuff can be avoided just by talking to each other.
Yeah, I
But
think so.
like we're like high school girls sometimes, man. So
Yeah,
bad.
yeah, yeah. I
Even
think
one.
I think he actually unfollowed me, which I was like, oh, whoa, that's
Whoa!
yeah. I was like, damn, holy shit. You know what I'm
That's
saying? But
that's that's serious now. If he unfollows you on Instagram, you're his enemy.
Yeah.
I,
You should go to an expo and fight him. Bring
but
Eric with
also
you.
I think sometimes we can. I think I misjudged his personality. He seemed like a loose, like cool guy. Not saying he's not cool, but he seemed like a guy who could like take a joke. But now, kind of paying closer attention, I think I think maybe he has some demons. I think definitely he's on the sensitive side, but I think he has some demons. And I'm gonna tell you guys what I'm talking about, like not on air, but
Yeah.
you,
Please
you,
do.
you
But we
probably
all have some demons, dude. What the fuck?
Yeah, you're grown up. You got to deal with shit, especially if you're in the public eye. Like, and
That's
uh
what
a
I
lot of us
mean.
are.
You are in Instagram era.
yeah,
Don't
yeah.
show up if you are so sensitive.
I think you kind of just said it, but I'm not gonna say it because it might blow who I'm talking about. But I think this person is really hard on themselves, like not normal hard on themselves, like over the top hard on themselves, like to the point that they don't see how good they actually are. I don't think this person knows how good they are. I think they look at themselves and they're disappointed. And that's not good, man. I mean, it's okay to be hard on yourself, but to a point. So a person like that, if they get a critique and they already feel that way kind of about themselves, it might like send them spiraling. So this is somebody that I actually want to be their friend because I kind of want to like, I like to have these conversations. I like to see how somebody's feeling and try to, if I could help somebody feel better, I would love to be able to do that. You know, now, I'm not a therapist or anything, but just, you know, I think I'm kind of good at reading people and kind of assessing. Okay, I see where this person's mind is. I felt that way before. Let me see if I could offer some way that they could feel better. You know, but you know, if this person still watches the podcast, he probably know that is who I'm
Start
talking about.
following him.
but
And
just
if they're
honestly,
watching, fuck you for unfollowing Beatty. You're an asshole.
just
Yeah.
just
Today you are getting unfollowed by 2 more guys.
That was a joke, by the way. Sorry.
I th-
I was serious.
I think it's important to have maybe like as men we don't necessarily have like the we don't have like you know how girls have like a whole infrastructure of people who can they talk to and this person they talk to for this and they get advice for this person. Most men don't have that, so most men kind
But
of
they
just deal with.
should. They
They
should.
should exactly. Most men kind of just deal with everything on their own, bottle it up, and just continue going. But if it's not working, then you can't do it that way because if you've been doing that your whole life and you're kind of fucked mentally, right? You just can't get that. You can't get back to baseline. Then you got to start putting like a group around you. It could be like-minded, you know, guys who maybe not all bodybuilders because you know it got to be the right kind of person, you know. But you have a group of people around you who you can talk to. You don't have to go super deep if you don't want to, but just talking, bouncing around ideas, you'll realize that nobody is okay all the time. We all have our issues. It might seem like everybody's fine because we're joking and laughing, but everybody has issues they're going through, and it's a lot more. It's a lot worse than you think, and it's a lot more common than you think. So
The
don't
joking,
feel
the joking
the
around
joking.
is a coping mechanism, to be clear.
Exactly. You know.
There is people, and we, especially men, behave this way because we were raised the way that we should be, calm. We should be like
Stoic.
we should be
Stoic, yeah.
stoic. And
Oh,
to
you
be
wait, hold
honest,
on. Wait, this motherfucker is his second language is English and he knows what stoic means. I love it.
Yeah, that's
I know.
good.
Yeah, and wait, because you keep my mind. Yeah, we are raised the way that we should be, hard and tough. And to be honest, we learn and we think that no one gives a fuck about our feelings. And that's the
Exactly.
worst because, for example, if I think that if I would openly speak about my problems, that I'm not even, like Bumstead or anyone famous, but few people know me. And if I openly speak about my problems, how I'm dealing with them, how I'm trying to cope with them, I think that it could help loads of people. But not many
Yeah.
people are so brave because you are just scared of being called a pussy, a coward, and so on. And we have to learn that we don't live anymore in the era where you couldn't actually show your emotions because nowadays it's all about emotion. People actually like you even more when you open and when they see that you are this tough bodybuilder who who can stay on 2000 calories, do 2 hours of cardio and so on, but you are still fucked up in your head
Mhm.
and you are trying to deal with every problem that is around you in some way, and they are going to be like, yeah, so if he is doing that and if he's got the problem, then I can open up with others and speak to
Yeah.
them, and that might actually help lots of people. I was thinking about it because I've had really, really, really rough rising, rough upcoming, and loads of dark stories. Like, and I'm thinking about opening about it, but there is still something on the back of my head, like what they're going to think about me. And to be honest, the only people we should think about who, cares about us and their opinion is like your wife and your mother. Because imagine when you are like having a birthday, or you are having a Christmas, something like this. When any friend calls you, he's like, yeah, and say that all the best wishes to your girl. No one else. They are not saying like to your mother, to your grandpa, to your friends. So the most important person, if she accepts you with these holes that you have, why do you give a fuck about all of the others what think about you when you can actually even help one guy? If you can help one guy, that's a success.
Yeah.
Like, I'm kind of torn
It's
on this. Like, uh, I don't know whether to be open or not because like there's just shitheads on the internet that will take that and use it against you. So like
Exactly.
if you
Sorry to
choose to
interrupt.
do
Sorry to
go
interrupt you, but I will when because I interview Luke Sando.
ahead. Yeah.
When he passed away, it was 4 days before his passing.
damn.
Some asshole went on my channel and left a comment that it was my fault that he passed away. I was actually really considering then deleting the YouTube, but I thought that if I do it, I will show this guy that he has won. But as you called it, right, there are some people who have shit in their heads, and they're going to use it on your, to harm you.
Well, yeah, so you have to, if you choose to be that open with who you are and your emotions and so forth, you have to be coming from a place of like extreme confidence or like not maybe not confidence, but like security, like where, all you really care about is what you think of yourself, what your close friends think of you, and what your mom thinks of you, you have to like be able to disregard all of the crap on the internet because there's going to be a lot of it. I mean, look at how much shit like the top level guys in this sport get, and this is from people who don't know the first thing about it.
Let's
So
look at the small thing that, for example, Sibam, he has this thing. He was, he was saying, for example, savage towards the savage. And he made it his, like his calling card. People remember him because of being savage. He
mhm.
actually made a t-shirt, savage, and it sold out within one day.
See,
Yeah,
okay, so me personally, I don't think you should put everything online, but I think you should pick some stuff that you feel like I feel like this might be able to help some people out. Let me put this public. You don't necessarily have to put like your deepest, darkest secrets,
Of course.
out there because part of being stoic is that you can open up and you can be emotional, but at the right times and at the right times and places, right? So
and
I think if you
it can almost come across as like attention seeking if you're
yeah,
like
yeah.
too out there with it. It's like if your whole personality is like, oh, I'm some like fucked in the head, like okay, well then you're not an interesting person. Like,
Mhm.
that's a bit much.
I saw I don't follow Alex Eubank, right? But I saw a video maybe on Greg Doucette's page, something like that. And he's been kind of playing the sympathy card a lot, right? And here's the sad part: he actually might be going through real shit, but some people are taking it as like he's not getting as much views, so he's trying to get views through sympathy. Where it might just be like this kid has known nothing but views his whole career. So when he doesn't get views, maybe he actually feels like depressed, right? So he's trying to share that feeling, but it's coming across like he's chasing sympathy. So there is like a limit, like Flex Wheeler, he's been really open like later in his life. But some of his posts, if you read the comments, or honestly, even me watching, sometimes it gets a bit sympathetic to the point that you're like, okay, maybe this might be a little too much. You know what I'm saying? So
Yeah, like you're asking for a pity party. Like,
yeah, so
uh,
I think that I think there's a balance. I think there's a balance. There's a limit. I think we would help a lot of people by being more open for sure. Like Antoine talking about like some of his addiction and things like that. I think that's great. Or even Luke, because Luke on your
the
podcast.
way that Antoine delivers that message is very good. Like he is not asking for sympathy. Like he's
Yeah,
coming from the position of an ex-addict where he's like taking responsibility for his shit and he's like, this is how I'm going to be improving stuff. And like his attitude about the whole thing is like totally different. You know,
yeah,
it's
yeah,
clearly not seeking sympathy. It's taking
And
exactly.
as you said, there
responsibility.
is like one post about the addiction, and there is like 10,000 posts which are totally different. There, he's
It's not,
just
yeah,
not seeking the attention.
it's not his whole
Exactly.
personality. Yeah.
No, he's like,
We mhm.
and is
we
there a thing like is there such a thing like ex-addict? There is not.
Yeah.
yeah, once you're addict, you're always addict. As men, sometimes we mistake we mistake that not having emotion versus having the emotion but still getting the job done. It's two different things, right? So it's not that we shouldn't have emotion, it's that we have to get the job done regardless. So if you're scared, like we talked about, I think on the last podcast, if somebody breaks in the door with a gun and he's pointing at you and your girl, you're just as scared as your girl, but you're gonna go fight the guy, right? Whereas the girl can say, "Oh, protect me." You can't do that as a man. You have to do what you have to do, regardless of how you feel. Your girl can cry and be like, "Oh my God, what the fuck?" You can't cry in that position. In that position, now you have to save both of you guys' life. So it's not that you can't feel the fear. You can feel the fear. Any sane person is scared of a gun. Any sane person is scared to die as much as the next person. But you're gonna go fight. I would hope so. You would go fight the guy anyways. So that's what it is. You can't let the fear cripple you. Same way if something goes out, that's not the time to cry. If shit goes to shit, you can't sit there and be like, "Oh my God, I'm crying." No, you handle the situation, and when you go home and you're sitting there on the toilet about to shower, you can cry. There's nothing wrong with that. You know what I'm saying? So it's not a lack of emotion. It's having emotion, but as a man, you have to get shit done regardless. I'll go as far as to say, I believe even as a woman, you have to get shit done regardless of emotion. It just so happens that a lot of women probably let emotion cloud some of their judgment even more. Some men do it too. I'm not going to act like men don't do it too, but I think
But like
it's
when men do it, like what do you call them? You call them like effeminate,
pussies.
you know? Yeah.
Exactly.
It's
Woman,
not a good quality, you know?
no, a woman can do it and maybe not get judged as harshly, but I personally believe everybody should do it. I remember when I first started dating my girl, there would be situations I felt like she would let the emotions get the best of her. And I didn't allow her to do it just because she's a girl, because I'm like, what if I'm not here? You still got to fucking survive. So you need these qualities yourself. So like, let's say she called the Uber canceled. She called another Uber, the Uber canceled again, and she's in the cold and she's, oh my God, and she breaks down, starts crying. And I'm like,
That's not
this
helping
ain't the
shit.
fuck. What the
Yeah.
fuck is crying gonna do? Yeah, but I'm just so tired and I want to go to sleep. And I'm like, you standing here crying, you're just gonna be out here longer. So call the fucking Uber. And then she's like, damn, why is my
Or
boyfriend
start
being so
walking.
hard? And it's like, why is my boyfriend being so hard on me? You're only that hard when you love somebody. Because if I didn't care about you, I don't give a fuck about your survival skills. I'm like, yeah, who gives a fuck? If she dies, she dies, right? But me actually caring about her, I want her to be able to survive without me, because I might not be here at certain times, depending where you're at. And now she's at a point where she can handle anything, because I purposely was hard on her just to make sure she's in a position where she can't be phased. Because like, let's say meeting her mom is the nicest lady in the world, right? The nicest, sweetest, like religious lady, right? But the thing with that is that's all she knows. So when all you know is just nice and comfort, right? It can also send you the other direction. Whereas my mom was the complete opposite.
You
It
know, you
wasn't,
You
huh?
reminded me of a story when I thought actually that my father, when I was firstly thinking about it, I was like, what an asshole he was. But
Hmm.
to be honest, it is as you said, he cared about us so much that he
Hmm.
rather show us that he is an asshole than for us not to know what to do. For example,
Perfect. Yeah.
he would, we would drive, and he would be like, "Damn it, I've lost the way." And it was back in the time when there was no, like
GPS.
localization on the phone, GPS, and so on. So he would be like, "Yeah, there is a guy going." So you open the window and you ask him, and he would just, he would see that we are scared, but he taught us a lesson, and it maybe wasn't even in his head, but he taught us a lesson that when we are now lost, we just ask, and people are like,
Yeah.
people are like, when they get lost, they're like, now imagine they have no internet, no localization, no maps, and there are people walking around. They're like,
Yeah. Yeah.
because
They
they
have
don't
not
know
even
how
know.
to even approach a guy.
Hey man, tough love is the best love because it's gonna prepare you for what you need, not what you want. If you're not okay going outside your comfort zone, you'll never amount to anything in life. You have to be able to be uncomfortable. My dad would do the same thing when I got my first job in Jersey, right? No car. I've never been to Jersey. I didn't know how to get to Jersey. And at the time, my dad worked in Jersey as well. So I'm like, "Hey, Dad, can I get a ride with you to Jersey?" He said, "No, I got to be at work at 8." I'm like, "Oh, but can I have a ride with you?" "No, you can figure it out." And I'm like, "Damn, my dad can't give me a ride to Jersey. He can, but he doesn't want to because I'm already saying that I don't know how to get to Jersey. That's a problem. If you work in Jersey, you went and you got a job in Jersey, you're gonna have to learn how to get to Jersey." And then I did. It wasn't that hard. You figure it out. So those are things. It seems subtle and it might seem mean, but it's out of love, right? Because if he just gives me a ride to Jersey every time, I'm not gonna figure it out. You know what I'm saying? So there's something to be said about tough love. Speaking of tough love,
Uh-oh.
uh, this guy posted John Jewett. He has nothing to do with tough love. I just wanted to transition to John Jewett because I thought he looked amazing. But this looks freaky, no? Am I? This looks crazy to me. He was never this big and full, right? Look at that,
245.
huh?
245.
I bet
And how?
he has still straightened glutes.
Oh yeah, knowing John Jewett, yeah, I would think so.
Yeah,
But
look
he
at it.
he looks huge though. Yeah, look at.
Look,
How tall is he? Oh, he was in 212.
5'7".
5'6",
Yeah.
I think. Because, I mean, he was similar height to
What the
Charles
fuck?
Griffin.
Look at his glutes, bro. Look at his lower back. Imagine being 245 at 5'6" ish with shredded glutes and being that full. That's amazing. That's dangerous. Honestly, I would have had no issue him beating Charles Griffin. If I was a judge, I probably would have voted.
Yeah, the thing is that Charles was bigger, but the tear in his chest was just
Was
taking
was
attention.
was he actually bigger though?
Yeah,
I
he was. Loads of people on
At
the,
that show, yeah. I
yeah, he
think
was
at
bigger.
that show he was. I mean,
Now I
John is
think
already
he would
growing
have,
a lot now.
if he would
but
have come from this to actual, stage weight and stage conditioning from this point, he would have won with Charles because he was, he went to 212, then he bounced back and he went this way. And actually, if
where
he would go,
where was he actually bigger, structure wise or like body part wise? Like bigger
Mm,
how? I
structure.
didn't. I didn't. Charles is doesn't have a wide structure though. Honestly, I didn't feel like he was bigger. I feel like he's a bigger person. Maybe he's a little taller, but he
You
wasn't
know,
wider. I thought Jewett's legs were actually bigger. I
Yeah,
thought
but
Jewish.
Charles got these freaky parts that as well draw your attention. For example, on the side try, you wasn't really looking at his chest because his arm and his hamstring look
Mhm.
so good. And from the back as well, two poses go to Charles because
back
Charles
back,
insane.
yeah.
he's definitely
No,
got
no,
better arms. by a long shot. I mean, I think John's triceps need a little more meat on them.
Okay, so that I agree. I'll say his back, you know, both back posts, his back double, back flat, his back is bigger, and I think his arms are actually bigger. But in the shots, do they look bigger? Yeah, but probably in the front double side tricep, his arms do look bigger. But I think John has bigger legs. I think he had a better chest, and condition
Charles
was.
was he was 10th, right, on the
I think,
Olympia.
think so.
I don't remember.
Yeah,
Maybe.
he was
Yeah,
10th.
he was. I
So
think I
basically, do you think, guys, that John can make top 10 this year?
this year.
Yeah.
Oh yeah, that's a good question. I don't. This year the lineup is going to be stacked, man. Unless people
Yeah.
drop out.
Like
Unless
if
a
you can
bunch of people drop
if he
out.
can qualify, it's going to be a struggle to qualify this year.
Yeah.
Like, what I want to say is that, of course, he's going to qualify. But if we look at the shows and how stacked the shows are, that's when it gets rough because,
Is he going to be
um,
doing like Texas, Tampa in
yeah,
the Open? Like
yeah,
those are
that's the
hard
tough part.
shows, bro. Like they are fucking
Yeah,
hard.
For
that's gonna
Legion.
be rough. Yeah. I mean, by this year, the Legion is probably going to be crazy too because
Yeah.
there's going to be so much people left over, right? Because like if we have Nexzilla doing New York and you doing New York, and then you carry over you, and you keep carrying over people. At some point it's like, damn, you're carrying over a lot of really good guys. You have the Brett Wilkins, and you have, what I'm saying? There's so much tiers of
Do you
guys.
think Brett is going to compete this year, though?
Yeah, he's back to it now. He's
He
He kind of
looks,
has to.
he's
I
getting
mean,
his stomach issues sorted out.
yeah,
That's
but is he going to be able to compete this year?
he kind of has to, bro.
I think
He
he
doesn't. It's
said
not
he
like
was, yeah.
Yeah.
it's not like he has like 10 years to go, so he kind of has to compete. He has to make the most of the years. Because I think Brett is what, 34, 35. How
No, I
old is
think
Brett?
he's right around 30, I think. He's a little
No,
younger than that.
how no, he's not 30, bro. There's no
I
way.
think he is.
There's no chance he's 30.
I'm not gonna Google this because like I got a totally wrong number last time.
He
No,
didn't.
Akin is not 35.
But Brett didn't even start bodybuilding until he was like in his late 20s. He didn't. He turned pro. I don't think he turned pro, but at 30, I think he turned pro maybe just at 30. I think he turned pro. He can't be 30 now. He got to be like mid 30s.
Hmm.
But just double check that. I got his number, but I'm not gonna text him. How old are you, bro?
Yeah.
I know he's older than us though. Like everybody on the podcast, besides Paul, he's not older than Paul. Did you find anything?
I'm looking. Please hold.
All right. Who else I want to look at? I think this guy looks great. I think this guy is 30. I think Tonio is 30.
Tonio looks immense.
Tonio looks like he's 26, but I know he's not 26.
Tony's gonna fuck up New York again for me. What an asshole.
Or think about that, Stu. If Tonio's 30 or 31, there's no chance Brett is 30, 31.
I don't know. I can't find this shit.
Oh, good. Let me see.
Brett, please leave in the comments how old you are. I know you're not watching this, but it'd be very helpful.
I don't think he watches it, but you'll be surprised. You'll be surprised if people watch it. I never saw him hit a vacuum. I think it looks good, actually. What do you think?
Tonio?
Yeah, it looks good on him.
Yeah, so like the one thing that I noticed, and you could really only see it in like videos
Brett turned
last year
pro 218 in
in
the new
2018.
junior nationals. Yeah.
Oh yeah, in classic, right?
Yeah, and then he switched over.
Yeah,
But
Tonio's midsection control it wasn't bad, but he was kind of like he's got such big
Brett
abs.
is
They were just
34.
damn,
okay.
really?
Yeah.
Surprising.
I
And the
mean,
article is
still long. You're still young though. But the
Yeah,
article
he's
might
35 this year.
Yeah,
I
and
mean
he's got a baby girl now, so
that's young considering when he started because he turned he turned pro at like 30 maybe or like right before 30, but he hadn't been bodybuilding like for a long time, you know. Like
6 years ago.
Shire. Like Shire, right? Shire, I think Shire is 35 as well, but
Yeah, Shia is
Shire
35.
but they haven't been pushing their bodies for a long time, you know. But yeah, Antonio's midsection control is
I
not the
don't think
best.
that. I think he looks better without vacuum.
You think so?
he's
Like
got
Yeah,
here?
such good abs, dude. Like he's got
yeah, this way.
display those.
Okay, because he's
Honestly,
not
like
strong.
that was one spot where he fucking mopped me for honestly, because like his abs are so good and blocky, and like in my
Yeah,
front lat spread, my midsection is just like flat. There's nothing going on there. So
Mhm.
and it looks much more impressive on him.
You can still see his abs even with the vacuum.
I know, right? It's fucking crazy.
That's
yeah, but it
hilarious.
doesn't look really like a vacuum, you know.
No, it's like a partial vacuum. Like the way I hit it, I don't hit like a full vacuum, but
Yeah,
like
that's why, for example, when John hits that vacuum, it looks great on him. When someone who has this good of abs, he shouldn't hide it.
yeah.
Yeah, he
But
got such a nice abs that he shouldn't hide it.
do you think he should sit down? I don't like when he sits down because he doesn't have the mobility in his arms. When he sits down on it, I guess.
Yeah, he's
Yeah, to each his
250
own.
now, I think.
250?
Are you
Yeah,
fucking kidding me?
yeah, he just
That
posted. Go to his first post, to his
Tonio,
first
stop. Just
that
stop.
down there and the back.
this
Up,
one?
up,
Oh.
this, the back. Uh, Scroll to the right, one to the right post. I mean, post to the right, the one that you were showing with the vacuum. I think he wrote there
Uh-uh.
that he's like
Well,
250.
250 for him is
It's a
heavy
lot.
because he wasn't getting that big.
He competed
Yeah, I
at
read
like
somewhere that he's 250,
220.
so
Lower than that actually.
Yeah, it was like 219, and then at the Olympia he was even lighter than
Hit,
earlier shows.
you know his former coach, the classic Bloom guy.
Dylan Bloom, yeah.
He said he was 214 at one of the shows,
Hmm.
which is and then Tonio said didn't Tonio said he said I think he said he was 214 at the Olympia, no?
Yeah, I think he was a little lighter at the Olympia. He was definitely harder.
That's wild. That's wild. That's crazy. Yeah, yeah, he said it on the Olympia podcast, some shit like that. But
yeah.
yeah,
But
basically he said,
how much
huh?
do you think Derek and Hadi weighed?
Well,
Derek said he was low 230s, but I don't think that was show day. I think that was before show day. I wouldn't be surprised if Derek was 225, 228, like
Exactly.
Dexter when he won.
Yeah, and
Yeah.
Hadi was like the same weight, like 220.
are you serious?
Maybe a little heavier now because he's not coming in as dry as he used to. But when he used to come in dry like that, he was a 212 guy. He was like 215 at most. So yeah, I could see how they being 220 to 230. But
Yeah, that just shows what
these
that just
guys aren't
shows
that
what
heavy.
weight means shit.
It's just quality, man. You don't
Exactly.
have to be heavy on the scale. You just have to have the quality. You know.
Yeah,
Let
they
me see
posted,
who.
by the way, this update of Hadi, and they were like, actually, like, it's an update of Hadi, and it's a video from the December.
Yeah, because if you do the math, right, Hadi's in Iran.
Yeah,
Why would Phil and Hani be in Iran right now? They're not, right? So it would have to be like during the Olympia time, like
it was
after the
in
Olympia.
Dubai, I think. Actually, this the one
Oh,
with,
the Dubai Muscle Show.
yeah,
I can see that because right now, why would Phil, Hani, and Hadi be in the same place? It
exactly.
doesn't. The timeline doesn't correlate, but everybody thinks it's like it's recent. You
Well, I
talking about this
mean,
one?
hmm, what if they're like hanging out in the US right now? Because like obviously he has to be here. to be able to
Well,
compete.
but he's not because he has to get his visa, and then you only have a limited amount of time. You can't just stay in the U.S. for 3 months if you want. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah,
They give you a certain amount of time once you have a visa, so you can't come and go as you please. You have to get the visa. They give you whatever. Let's say they give you, I don't know, 20 days or a month. You have to
what,
come
yeah.
and you
What
have
if
to go
he
back.
doesn't get it though? That would be oof.
Well, he's been back and forth so many times now. Listen, it's not set in stone. That's for sure. But he's been back and forth so many times that I think he's good. But the risky part is he was coming here once a year. Now, what if he tries to come the second time and then by the Olympia they're like, no, you used up all your days.
But I heard
I
that
don't know.
he can come somehow easier because he's like an
Sponsor,
employee of behavior
yeah,
training.
for sure, for sure. Yeah, I mean, if you're sponsored by an American company, you should be able to stay a lot longer. I believe some people
Yeah,
can
that's
stay
why
here.
I hate this thing that Behrus can compete because Behrus would have done really, really good.
Listen, why can't Milos just start like a fake company and be like, oh, I'm selling fucking paper plates, and he's my athlete, right? Can't you do that? Open like a business, not fake, but not.
I'm sure they would if they could, man.
Yeah, I
Yeah,
think
yeah,
it that they tried every possible option. And remember that Milos is not from States either.
yeah. Good point. Good point. So, all right, I think it's time to get into questions. We've been on how long now? A while.
I'm gonna
Let's
take
see
this real
if
quick. Be right back.
yeah, do your thing. Let's do David. Are you off season right now? What's going on
Yeah,
with you? And
yeah.
do you have any plans for your next show?
Slowly thinking about some. I've got to do the regionals first, like it's nationals. For example, when you have to qualify to the nationals, you have to do something before. So I
Yeah.
got to do the regionals first, and then I'll be able to compete for the pro card. Even though I have won twice the overall in Poland, still have to do the regionals again.
Really? That's
Yeah.
crazy. And but
Because that's the
how?
rules. I don't really care because I will have to compete, and after being you for example, you have been quite long away from the stage. You know that you
Mhm,
need this show before
you do.
because you are going to be a little bit rusty and so on. And
Yeah.
when you are trying to compete, you are going to for the USAs.
Yes, yes. But yeah, see, so like the Poland thing, right? I don't mind it being harder to turn pro because you're gonna have to do the work anyways, right? So it's like I have this fascination with the USA, right? It's like I want USA, right? And then it's like, well, can you go to North Americans? Can you go to nationals? Can you go amateur O? Yes, but if I'm not good enough to win the USA's, I still need to get better anyways, right? So let's say, okay, let me do the amateur O, and let's say I get a pro card at amateur O. Now, as a pro, I just have more ground to cover. Now, let's say I don't get USA's and I wait a whole nother year and come back and then get it. Well, I'm just closer to where I need to be as a pro, anyways, right?
Yeah, but
So,
actually you could monetize on it. That's the point. If you are going to take, as you said, you are going to have to take either way some time off to grow to the pro leagues.
yeah.
So once you turn pro and you are recognizable, actually, same as I am, I can monetize on it, like
Uh-huh. What I would say is, I think for most people, that's true. But if I'm being honest, for me in particular, most of the pros, before I started this particular podcast, they already think I'm a pro. To this day, a lot of pros hit me up and be like, "Oh, wait, you're not a pro, right?" So, like most of the pros follow me already. Most of the pros I'm like friends with, and a lot of them don't even realize I'm still an amateur, right? So I don't know if for me it would help my marketability personally because I'm not super popular, but the people who should know me or I want to know me all know me, right? The people who matter to me personally. I don't
yeah.
have like I don't have like mainstream TikTok kids that follow me, but Like pretty much all the pros I can think of, all the pros I follow, I care about, all follow me already, and they all like message me or I have their phone numbers. So I feel like I already have a certain amount of credibility that the pro card itself wouldn't help me, but now winning the USA title and bringing a physique and peaking properly and bringing a look that is worthy of the USA's, I think that does lift my credibility. But it's not necessarily the card itself, right? If I sneak and go to Turkey and get the Turkey Pro card, right? I don't think that or even if I do the amateur I don't think that boosts my credibility because I got my pro card. Winning
To
the
be
USA
honest,
over,
in a year, no one is going to remember.
exactly,
I mean, the
but
fact that you can put like IFBB Pro next to your handle on Instagram might help a little bit with people who aren't so much in the know, but that's about it.
yeah,
You know?
yeah. But that's what I'm saying. Like the people that I care about their opinions, like they already respect me to a certain amount, right? Which I do like that. But now you take other people. I could even say Joe, for example, right? Joe wasn't really doing social media, so boom, he wins the USA title, and then now he's posting every day. So for Joe winning his pro card, but it's not even that he won his pro card; it's that he won Mr. USA. That definitely boosted like his name in the industry because he used it as a tool. Whereas, like I said, in my head, back then I already decided that I'm not gonna wait till I have a sponsor. I'm not gonna wait till I have a pro card to start marketing myself. So I've been kind of marketing myself this whole time. I don't have like I said, I don't have a huge following, but the following I have respects me. I don't know why they respect me, but they respect me.
I respect you
Thank you.
when you pronounce shit correctly.
but see, there's two sides to it. Like people I respect you guys as bodybuilders, but first and foremost, I respect you as men, and that's more important to me, right? Like Stu could be just as good as a bodybuilder, but if I thought he was a piece of shit, he doesn't really have my respect, And
Do you
I
think he
think that
has,
uh-huh.
do you think he has enough width?
Yeah, he has
Enough
no width,
width,
his shoulder
width,
width.
width,
Shoulder width.
well, but same for Joe and Paul. I was friends with Joe and Paul. Shit, I was friends with Joe and Paul before they were pros, before they looked the way they look, because I respect them as men. So I think the other way around, even though whether or not people respect me as a bodybuilder, I think a lot of these pros, honestly, I think they just respect me as a man. I think they respect the way I conduct myself. The way I kind of am who I am. I don't bullshit. I don't. So I think they respect that more even than they respect bodybuilding. Because I haven't really done anything as a bodybuilder, right? I think people like my style of physique, maybe the proportions, but more that honestly, I think it's more of a character trait. You know what I'm saying? And for me, first and foremost, you guys have my respect as men before you have it as bodybuilders. If Stu quit today, I could care less if whether Stu is a
I
pro
would delete
bodybuilder
his
or not.
Instagram.
I would too. I would delete my Instagram. And personally, my goal is to blow up and act like I don't know nobody.
Yeah, just have one guy that you are following, and it's
That
going
went
to.
Oh
And
yeah.
that went right over David's head. I don't think he knows who Riff Raff is.
Oh, Riff Raff, yeah. That's
You know
true.
that video I'm talking about?
Yeah, I know
It's
exactly what
so
you're talking about.
fucking funny.
He's fucking, but he's fucking. Isn't he buff now? He's big now. No,
I think he's kind of jacked.
yeah, because I think he was telling Bradley that he's on like cycle or some shit. I
The
don't know, some
fuck?
shit like. Yeah, it's so random. But Riff Raff, I first saw Riff Raff like 15 years ago. At this point, like a long time ago, he was on some reality show, and then now he's like a legit celebrity, right? He's
I don't
like
know
pretty
about
much a well,
legit.
not
I
legit,
don't
but
really follow celebrities, so I couldn't tell you.
all right. Let's get into questions. Same pros the way they train now, the same. Huh. Some pros the way they train now. Is it the same? Hmm. I don't get what he's saying. I think he's saying some pros the way they train. Okay, basically he's saying the way pros train now do you believe it's the way they trained when they initially put on the size? I I think I get what he's trying to
No,
ask.
No, because they
Yeah,
don't have to, and they are
yeah,
more scared about getting
injuries.
person worse.
yeah.
Yeah,
I mean,
like
like Nick, for example. I remember
yeah,
like years ago when he was like he would move crazy weights,
Yeah.
and he still moved it with control, but not quite the same level of like
yeah.
slowness and tempo that he does now. But
I'll be
like
right back.
Uh-huh.
he doesn't like you said, he doesn't need to. Where does Nick need more muscle? Maybe his quads. Like that's about it.
Yeah. To be honest, yeah, but to be honest, even the quads, his quads are big, man. I just feel
Yeah.
like his, you know what? I think Ken might disagree, but I think his arms are so big in the front shots, but
And
his
they
quads
don't
are huge.
the problem really is like
Sweep.
the shape of them and the
Uh,
sweep. Like instead of coming
Exactly.
off of his hip up here, it's like straight down, and then like
Yeah.
his vastus lateralis pops out the bottom, which is kind of like it looks smaller. But he has
Okay.
like some of the biggest legs in the league. It
Yeah,
just
yeah. Because when people say that, I'm like, but how big does his legs really need to be? But I mean, you could change the shape of it by you could just pin the side quads a little bit and change the shape of
I wonder if he's
it.
tried that. Like
I
I don't
wonder.
personally shoot my quads at all anymore, but like I mean it works.
Yeah.
You know.
I don't think he's tried. Honestly, like Nick sometimes gets like so much like shit talk that if he did that, I feel like people would like try to point it out. Hey, why look at his quads? He's pinning his quads, even though
Yeah, well,
people
if
have
he did
done
it right, then you wouldn't be able to tell. But he has so much detail and like striations and stuff on the side of his leg that I don't think
he
he's
wants
done
to
that
learn it.
to
Yeah, no,
any
me
like
either.
meaningful extent. If I had to guess,
Yeah,
I had to talk to him about it.
facts. All right, see what else we got. Oh, were you on the last? Yeah, you were on the last episode when we rated that guy's physique, right?
Yeah.
What's his name again? Let me see.
The guy from Arizona, Sid's buddy.
Yeah, but oh shit, what the fuck is this? Holy shit! But I was gonna say, yeah, he's super cool, man. Like or Lewis, yeah, Lewis C. Flores.
Yeah,
He's
Luis.
super cool because when I rewatched it, I'm like, was that harsh? Because I feel like we were serious at the end, but in the beginning we were kind of like messing around a little bit. But he was super cool about it. Like, and the good thing is that I feel like he's gonna progress because he's aware. He's like, yeah, I'm aware. I haven't put my all into it yet, and I
Mhm.
haven't, what I'm saying, for long enough for me to look around. Like he's not delusional by any means, right? So he's gonna. I'm positive he's gonna make the improvements, and he's just like a good sport. So people like that, I definitely want to see win. Okay, the reason I say that somebody else is asking us to rate his physique. Uh, should we do it?
Nah.
No,
Now
no,
Stu
not
is
yet.
going to be an asshole. I'm going to be kind of nice.
I was perfectly tempered last time.
You
Yeah,
tried.
yeah. Stu did good. Let me let me take a look at his physique before I see if we should do it.
Yeah, do a little pre-inspection.
Yeah, let me see.
About how rough can Stu be.
He looks really young. I don't know how young he is. He looks like a teenager. I mean, a young adult. I mean, he had a good physique, but I don't think we should do it.
Yeah,
But
sometimes
yeah,
like people send in rate my physiques, and it's just like there's nothing to critique here because you just need 50 pounds of muscle.
yeah.
It's like that simple. Maybe not 50, but like you know what I mean.
Imagine you see Nick's first comp pictures. Imagine if he sent us, "Hey, rate my
Yeah,
physique," and we're like, "Oh man, you need more arms." Like it sounds crazy, but then look at him now, and it's like, well, so it's like it's hard to say.
And it's arms debate again.
Exactly.
I never
All
even
right,
watched that episode. I wasn't on it,
It's
so
good. It's a good one. It's a good one.
all right. What's worse in a girlfriend? Farts constantly, chews with mouth open, or burps like a truck driver? What's
what's
worse?
worse?
Mm-hmm.
Uh, probably farting.
I think
Yeah, I think.
I think we could laugh at farts.
No, but they
Th-
smell bad. So like, I
Yeah,
think
they smell
burping,
But
bad.
do they?
burping would be
Because
funny.
it's not set stone. Because there are farts that don't smell bad.
You're right. Girls don't even fart.
Yeah,
So
I've been around girls who farts didn't smell bad to me at least. It was like the loud ones don't smell usually. It's the silent ones that
maybe,
smell.
maybe you're just into it, man. I
It
don't.
might be to be honest, like smells don't bother me like that. Even like post gym sex, sometimes I don't want the girl to shower. I'm like, yeah, I want to smell some musk, you know? I want to smell some of them armpits going. I don't mind that. And I mean, like it depends where I'm at. If I'm on a bunch of hormones and I'm feeling super masculine, I don't care. You
I'm
don't got to
now
shower.
I'm now I'm thinking about it more. Like, yeah, I see
I
what you
don't
mean.
mind.
Yeah,
Granted, your girl has pretty good hygiene. Your girl doesn't smell that bad, you know?
better than me.
You see what I'm saying? I'm not saying like if your girl smells really bad, that's different. But if your girl has, but but if your girl has like decent hygiene and it's just a little bit musk, you know, it just smells how musk smells, nothing crazy.
Musk. It's
Sometimes
such a funny word, dude. Musk.
I
Ugh.
I kind of like that sometimes. I gotta be honest with you. I kind of like that.
I think I couldn't live with a girl that would be like eating like this.
Yeah, that would
I
drive
I
me
don't
would,
like
nuts.
it.
and
That
I don't
just
like
that's
that's
it.
just okay. So farting, burping, like you can't really control that, but like that's just
Yeah,
table manners. Like if you eat with your mouth open, that's not.
I don't like it. And
yeah.
even like with chewing gum, like chewing gum, like super loud like that.
Oh yeah, fuck that.
I'm not a
I
fan of
went
it.
with my friend for a
Slap it out of
coffee.
your mouth.
Yeah, I went with my friend for a coffee last time, and he was like, drinking and slurping, like. I was like, what the fuck? We are in a public place.
Yeah,
Stop it.
yeah, bro. More than half of these questions are rate my physique. So we did it
Oh no, what
once.
have we begun?
Yeah, it's gonna become a thing now. Um, let's do one then. Let's do one. Let me pick. I'm
You're
gonna just
only
pick a random one.
encouraging them.
Oh, this person said roast my physique.
Oh, I
Oh, I'm a
like
kind
that.
of. He said I'm a client of stews.
Oh no.
Uh-oh. It says I can't pronounce it. It starts with a C and then it says bodybuilding. Snake? Snake
Oh,
bodybuilding?
that's Cody. Cody.
Should we do him or somebody else?
Cody, you know what you need to work on.
Okay, yeah, somebody else.
You
Let me see
need more
this.
muscle everywhere.
Let me see this person. Let's roast. I could pull it up on my thing, but let me Justin
Justin
Justin Grin
Abbott.
Justin Grinberg. Yeah, we could. Oh, he looks a little older, maybe. All
That
right,
name sounds familiar.
let's see what we got here. Justin Grinberg.
But does he want to get roasted or
No, he just said rate my physique.
He
wait?
walked into the fire. You better be ready for the heat.
Because I'm like in between.
Justin Grinberg. Yep, I said right there. Okay, let's see what we got. Okay, is he young or old? I thought he was older here, but now I'm like, no, he's young actually.
Hmm.
Oh, he got shredded glutes. I mean, anytime I see like somebody in that condition, I'm always impressed. Let me see what he asked. He said, rate my
Nationally,
physique."
look at the caption. Nationally qualified at 19.
Holy,
That's
oh well,
sick at 19.
con- con-
And in
condition will,
bodybuilding.
yeah, bodybuilder, compete in bodybuilding, age 19. Yeah, he said 19. Holy shit! I mean, I thought that was impressive condition regardless, but at 19 to be in that kind of condition and not be tiny, because chances are if you're 19 and you're that shredded, you're gonna, so that's extremely impressive.
I'm
He's
gonna
got
take a
great
guess here and
abs.
say he's like 5'5"
Yeah,
or
but
like
he's
five
got
foot four.
great
Yeah,
abs.
he said 5'6". How did
Okay,
you know that? Oh, because the
because
amount of muscle.
well, look at his head. Like his head looks big for his body, so he
Okay,
looks
okay.
short. See, I have
Also,
that problem, but I'm like 5'8", so I'm not that short. Everyone just
well,
thinks I'm short.
but also imagine being 19 and 6 foot. Like it's gonna take some years to fill your frame out. You know,
Yeah.
to take a long time.
But actually,
Okay.
he's got really nice physique besides the back as the lats.
Yeah, I mean his abs don't. I mean his waist doesn't look like a short guy waist. You know, it looks like aesthetic. Hey, this guy's good.
Oh, what the fuck? Hold on. Go back.
Huh?
Uh, bottom right. He's there with Geo. You
Who's
know
that?
John Effer?
No, if you're an East Coast guy,
Yeah, you don't know Johnny John? Oh my God.
no,
Well,
I'm
that's a
afraid.
lot of lore we can't get into right now. But
Is he young?
Gio's my age, or he's a little younger than me. But
Mm.
Gio won teen nationals at like 18 or 19.
This guy won as well. Look,
Yeah, he says he won
Yeah,
2020. I didn't know they still had team nationals. They still have it.
apparently, yeah.
Oh well, I mean, I would assume he won. Yeah. So this guy's legit. He's the nationals champion at fucking. Holy shit! These guys are they getting
Okay,
after
so
it.
Justin Grinberg, I have one piece of advice for you. Do not do what Gio did and yo-yo and zigzag for the next 6 years, trying to decide what you want to do. Either do
Facts,
bodybuilding or don't. Just don't
facts.
walk this line in the middle.
No facts. Yeah, no, good advice. Yeah, you gotta commit all the way.
Okay, so
I'm
let's
really
actually critique this guy because he looks very good. But legs are very good.
yeah.
I think your abs. I haven't seen like an ab and thigh shot, but like
Mhm.
in his front double and his front lat spread, it's like they look very smooth, like washed. You know.
Well, okay, but before you get to his physique, watching this video, his posing does need. If you know, look how he hits look how he transitions, and look how he hits the side tricep.
Hmm.
I
So
think
you
actually,
see,
when those are like, junior nationals, they're getting kind of like, they're letting them loose with the posing a little because
yeah,
it's like their first show and so on. And
Nobody
he,
knows what they're doing yet.
I think
yeah,
that
yeah.
about his abs, it's a matter of genetics because in the end he shot the, most muscular and he just didn't have the abs.
I mean, but to be fair, everybody part of the matter of genetics, you know.
Of
But
course.
but he still has to like at least
Show this
attempt.
front lat spread photo on the right,
Mhm.
in the middle.
Oh well.
So
it,
another.
it wasn't a before, but but it's like you got to try the improvement, which he probably is. If he hasn't been, then he's gonna try now. But like maybe like some really heavy ab training. When I was for whatever reason when I was in my early 20s, I did everything heavy. Everything I did heavy, right? So I would do this like I would like just crunch the whole stack and I would add plates to it. I didn't know why I was doing it. I just like training heavy, and my abs were super big and blocky and I didn't like it, so I stopped. But if you don't genetically have those kind of deep abs, I think that can help a lot. Just doing like heavy ab training, actually, you know.
But
Yeah,
overall,
But
like your back is the only thing that's kind of behind. But that's one of those things. If you're fucking 19, like it's gonna be there eventually.
yeah,
Um,
it takes time.
yeah, but he looks immense for a 19.
Shit, most pros are still trying to bring up their back. Let's be real, you know. Like I would go as far as say what 50% of pros are trying to bring up their back still, you know.
yeah, it's one of those body parts that just you need so much meat on it for it to look good that, and it just takes a long time. So
Because some people have good traps but bad lats. Some people have thick erectors, but you know what I'm saying. So it's like there's so much room, and then you have to learn how to train it. It's not something that you can copy somebody else's training.
Yeah,
You have to.
especially when you go up
Mhm.
to those photos from the back double. Go up.
yeah, the top.
Yeah, at the top. Yeah, and show
Mhm.
the back double. Especially
Yeah,
when you
yeah,
see that he doesn't have the genetics to lats, he's gonna have to focus on the movements that are going to, he can't just focus on the heavy deadlifts and think that they're going
No,
to grow his back. He needs a specific training to it. But
exactly.
still, he's 19 and look at his hamstrings. But it's a matter of time. He's a really, really,
100%.
really, really looking good.
And like similar to myself, or if you look at Bumstead, right? Not to compare me, this guy, and Bumstead, but like if you have like a small waist, a longer waist, and higher lats, you have to pose this differently. The only people who should pose back double like this is people with shorter torsos and really dense backs. But he might have to not externally rotate so much and actually flex his abs and lean back a little further, because it's gonna shorten your waist and it's gonna make your back pop out a little bit. It's hard to teach unless you have the person in person. Bumstead did increase his back size, but what changed the most actually is the way he poses it. He figured out that he can't. He used to pose it like this. He would just stand straight up and pull his waist up like a front double. But you can't pose the back double like a front double. You have to pose it to show your back.
Yeah,
So
inside pose, inside chest, he could have his arms higher. It would
yeah,
hide
yeah.
his abs, which he doesn't have for now. And his
Mhm.
chest is really, really good. So it would he would look even prouder this way. And the right arm would be put down a little.
Exactly. And of course we're only critiquing because he asks us to, and also that we want him to be
Yeah, but
even better.
he looks really, really good. That's just the
Uh,
two things that he has to work on. It's not like critique, it's just
exactly.
suggestion more like.
I
He's
mean,
really
listen,
strong too. He's hack squatting what, six on the Cybex hack there?
no bands neither.
No bands.
Okay, yeah, that's
It's real
it's
weight.
like this. What his legs, is there bands? No, no bands.
Nope, no bands.
Uh, and yeah, his legs show for it because his legs are detailed and they're big. I mean, he's basically the best teen bodybuilder in the country, right? At this point, you
Yeah,
know, Ali,
I'd say slow those reps down a little bit, at least on the negative. Like you're young now, but in a few years, your
he's
knees are going to hate you for that.
yeah, yeah. He's 19. You know, for compared to most 19-year-olds,
Yeah.
you know,
You
yeah, but
actually, you know what?
I
Fuck what I
haven't
said.
watched him train that way than you know what way.
huh?
I
What
rather
that?
watch him train that way with a little bit of
Yeah.
even
Yeah,
madness than to overloading people.
analyzing.
Train like a bitch. Yeah.
If you saw me squatting at 19, you would have a lot more critiques for my squat.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Well, you know what? Never mind what I said. Just enjoy it while you still can.
Yeah.
Till
yeah,
shit
like
starts
he was
hurting.
doing the hack squats, so actually we were all doing the barbell.
I did hack squats, but not as often as I did barbell.
Yeah, the same.
Um,
And I think that the barbell destroys your knees even more.
I think so. Well, I can tell you that right now it does, because when I right now, since my knees haven't been the best, when I do hack squats, I can hack squat as the second movement and be fine. When I do barbell squats, I literally have to do it last or like third. Like, you know what I'm saying? Like I would have to be extensions, leg press before I can physically barbell squat. I'm at the point now I might have to completely stop barbell squats because what it does to my body, I don't think it's worth it at this point, because my elbow is hurt when I squat now, just because the range, just to get my arms back there. I'm like, what am I getting enough benefit to like beat my body up like this at this point? And I'm like, I don't think I'm getting anything that I'm not getting from the hack squat at this point. It's just like I kind of just like I like the basic movements. I'm kind of scared to give it up or shy to give it up. You know, I don't know, but I might have to take that out. All right, but
Oh,
yeah,
one last thing on that front lat spread in the middle there. Don't fucking hike the sides of your trunks up. You look like you're giving yourself a wedgie. I hate it when people do that. All the English guys do that.
you know why he's doing it, right?
I know why, but I still think it's stupid. You look
I
like a
don't
figure girl.
I don't because when he gets heated with the side hip, I don't like it personally. Uh, the only reasons I've heard for people doing it is They feel like they have a long waist and they want it to look shorter. I don't think it works honestly for that. But some people's hands slip on the oil. So one of my clients, he kept slipping, and I was like, just grab your trunks, and he stopped slipping. So I've seen Martin Fitzwater do it. I think on the back last spread maybe.
Yeah, he does.
But I think
That
that's
looks
because
fine, though.
it does. I think that's because it's slipping, because
Yeah.
I don't think he's doing it to make his waist look shorter. But
A little pro
I don't
tip.
let. Huh?
If your trunks aren't sitting in the right spot and like the groove in your hip, get the tanning people backstage to get some bikini bite, which is like little like glue that they glue the girls into their suits with, and just stick it on there. It won't move. And you can put it on like the side of your waist here as well to stick your hand to if you're trying to pose properly.
But I think that he's doing it for in purpose, you know, to make it look like, to show more detail, but actually it looks like
I don't think he needs to. Yeah, if you
I
got
don't
your
think
cut,
that he needs to enter that. It's just the way perhaps he was taught to do.
I always make fun of Ryan Foster for doing this, so I just had to say that. He does it
Yeah.
too.
I'm not a fan of it personally. All right, but hey, but great physique, guy. Really great physique.
Yep.
Yeah, that was very pleasant. I didn't even roast anything.
No, we didn't have anything to roast. All right. Is it worth money for growth hormone?
Yes.
Is it but he's asking, is it, yeah, but the question, the answer would still be yes to growth hormone. But he's saying, like, basically, can you get away with ipomorelin, testosterone? I don't actually know what that is, or get real growth hormone.
It's a different pathway. It doesn't, growth hormone is growth hormone. Peptides are peptides. Do not think that you can get as much from peptides as from GH, and do not think that you can get benefits from GH as you can get from the peptides.
Mm-hmm.
Peptides are, for example, a chain like GH frag. It's a chain of the growth hormone that is responsible for burning fat. Do not think that you are going to get the same benefits from GH and GH frag. It's two opposite things. And if we are speaking about GH, if you want to be a pro, if you want to go higher, you need GH. That's all.
Yeah,
and
peptides.
If anyone says like, no, you don't need to GH to be big. Wait until you hit 220 on the stage.
Yeah, and then don't compare freaks to everybody else. Don't say, well, I heard Phil Heath didn't need growth, and it's like, you're not motherfucking Phil Heath, and you're never gonna be Phil Heath. So
and Michael Jordan grabbed the ball and tossed it around the match ball, and he was like, "Yeah, I shot it. I can train the way that Michael Jordan did. I can eat the way he has. I can do everything he has done, and I'm going to be shit at basketball still. Exactly. So don't compare yourself to Phil Heath or."
And then why limit yourself? You know, let's say, for instance, you happen to be the one in a million, and you are Phil Heath, right? Or you look like Phil Heath. If you take growth hormone, you're just gonna look even better, right? So you're just gonna blow away the competition even more. So it's like, don't. Yeah,
I don't honestly know any serious competitors who use peptides besides like the healing stuff like BPC and TB. That's great. Melanotan, that's kind of popular. I don't like GH frag. No, I mean, all the ipamorelin, all the GH releasing peptides and shit. I've never, nobody I know does that stuff.
The only time is if they have like an actual specific reason, like the MK, like let's say the appetite. But even that, it's not that commonly used. But I've heard people, okay, I don't have the best appetite, so I'm doing GHRP6 or MK677. But even then, nowadays, most coaches, instead of forcing the food anyways, they'll pull you back, right? They'll pull you back, let you get hungry.
Bikini girl, for example, it's a great tool for a bikini girl or for people who don't want to compete and just want to, get some extra results without, blocking yourself.
But still, like, I think you'd be better off just taking like a couple units of growth hormone, both like money wise and results wise. Like, because
that's
these peptides aren't free, you know,
That's
like,
why I'm talking about like comparison. There is no comparison between peptides and hormone, and there is no comparison between hormone and peptides. It's like to compare testosterone and peptides. Yeah, you can get some release of the GH from the peptides, but it's not going to be the same as from GH.
There's a really good pro who's probably one of the best in the world. Well, not probably, but one of the best in the world that told me that he uses frag and it works really well for him for fat burning,
I
right?
am using
I guess I
frag.
could see that. Yeah.
Well,
I am.
now that being said, he must use a different frag than I use because okay, does it help with fat burning? I'm sure it does, but he made it sound like this was like game changing. I didn't feel like it was game changing, you know what I'm saying?
It is
But
like
also,
another 0.5%.
yeah, well, but also how many preps did he do without it? What if he just thinks it's working really well, but maybe he's just a freak. Maybe he just fucking gets shredded easily, you know?
I will say, like, if again, I'm a GH junkie, right? But like,
Mhm.
you know, if you just take growth hormone and some Clen and some yohimbine in
Yeah.
the morning before your fasted cardio, like
Yeah.
all those things are going into your body and they're causing the release of fatty acids. You
Mhm.
remember, GH frag is the fat releasing portion of growth hormone. Growth hormone has that too. So just take some growth hormone and you're going to get all the other benefits too. So
Yeah,
like,
yeah,
throw all that stuff together in a cocktail in the morning and then go do your cardio. I've
Mhm.
noticed a very dramatic difference in like how fast I get lean without getting like flat during the day.
Right. Yeah.
Just grab it in the morning. But again, just
If
change. Simple.
if I'm gonna spend extra money, let's say when I added the frag, right, I still had to do 2 hours of cardio. The only way it would make sense to me to make the investment is if I took frag and now instead of 2 hours, I did 1 hour of cardio. I'm like, okay, that's a good investment for me. But
Yeah.
if I still have to do 2 hours of cardio, then I'm not gonna spend the money if I'm still doing the same amount of work, you know? So I don't know.
I'd
But
save your money, man. The thing of the reason why peptides exist really is because they're gray market sellable. You don't
yeah,
have
yeah.
to message somebody with an encrypted email address to get the shit. You can just buy it off of AminoAsylum or whatever fucking peptide site, right?
Well, I have a peptide sponsor. I want to give him a shout out since I've never gave them a shout out before, which is fucked up. But damn, I can't even find the name. Whoops.
What?
Yikes.
What a great sponsor you have.
Oh my goodness.
Which is
Next
fucked
episode.
up. You better skip this part and cut it.
Baby, you are worthless.
Now I feel like I have to. Okay,
You will
Revolution.
never get a sponsor now because they will be like, this fucking baby is going to forget our name.
Oh man, is Revolution Research Peptides. Go cop all your peptide needs from Revolution Research Peptides. Okay.
But seriously though, like the BPC, the TB, melanotan, I'm a big fan of those. I'm gonna do like a shitload of melanotan this year. I'm gonna get
Yeah,
darker than you, Beatty. I'm gonna get
that's the
tan.
good. Oh, we forgot to mention Zaid. Zaid was on. No, he was on a podcast. I think he told us this in the group chat, or he was on a podcast. I forget. He was like, does GH ever give you guys moles? He said something like that, right?
Yeah,
Remember he asked, but melanotan gives you moles, doesn't it?
it can, yeah. So it's gonna increase like you'll get like little moles that'll pop up, and the ones that you have will get a little darker. They might grow a little bit. They're
That's
well,
why that you know why it happens because people take too much of it. That's the first thing. Then, for example, they will go to the sun bath after taking it. It's not the way you do it. It's the way that you, for example, just keep taking it. Like you are 8 weeks out, then you start with the microdosing, and you keep doing it until the show, and it is going to work, and it is not going to give you the side effects of like the pain in the stomach and so on because
Mhm.
that's what melanotan can do.
I mean, you use it, right, David?
I used to a lot, and now I'm just
Because I remember like your check-in photos were like, how the fuck is this guy so dark and he's Polish?
yeah, the shed uses as well the melanotan.
Okay.
Yeah. I was gonna bring it up to Zayd and be like, "Hey, are you on melanotan? Because maybe he's getting the most from that." You know,
Yeah.
believe it or not, I actually used melanotan one year. For I'm not even
Why?
joking. For no for appetite. I was so hungry, and somebody,
Oh,
you're fucked up in the head in prep. So somebody was like, "Yo, I'm on melanotan, and my appetite is shit." And I'm like, it rung a bell. I'm like, "Oh, I'm so hungry, I could use this." And I did it. Obviously, I'm like, "Well, I can't get any darker, anyways." But you'll be surprised, right? So my fucking lips. You see how my lips are pink? My lips
Purple.
turn like, bro. My lips turn like black, bro. I'm like, what the
Yeah,
fuck? Holy shit!
to the
It
purple.
it it don't look right. You're like, that looks weird. I mean,
No.
some people's lips are purple already, but when you're one way and you and then my eyes, I was getting like dark bags under my eyes. I'm like, I look sick. It doesn't. If you're white and you tan, it looks good.
yeah.
If you're dark and you get like weirdly darker in weird places, it doesn't look better. It just looks weird. It doesn't look right.
So the first time I ever used Melantan was my first prep, and I was in college. I was fucking broke, so I could afford like 2 bottles of it maybe. So I got it, and I went and got like 5 or 7 sessions at like the tanning salon, right? Because that's
Oh
all I could
shit.
afford. So in two
Yeah.
weeks, I went from like, the color I am now to like really fucking dark, like really fast. And
Yeah.
everyone was in the gym was like, what the fuck happened to you, Stuart? Like people were looking at me like
Yeah.
weird because I look totally different.
Yeah.
So
Yeah.
when I go for it, I can get dark quickly. So I'm gonna
The,
do that again this year.
does your hair get curlier or thicker on melanotan?
Yeah,
Uh, I've
actually
never
it
noticed
can
that.
as well. Your bird can grow.
Or like your beard?
Beard, fucking bird. Yeah,
Oh.
beard.
Bird. I was like, is that your
Like
dick?
a
Like, what
dick,
the fuck?
But actually, it has libido rising
Yeah,
properties.
that's true. Yeah, you
So
get,
your dick actually can get harder.
but it's not like it doesn't work to your advantage. You get like random boners. It's not like when you want to get it, right? It's just at
Yeah.
random. Yeah, so
Yep.
that's the yeah, okay. But by that time in prep, most people aren't having much sex to begin with.
Give me 2 seconds,
Unless
guys.
she does it.
Yeah, exactly. Okay. Would you use let's do a couple more, maybe two more. Would you use Anadrol in prep?
Yeah.
Oh yeah, do you?
I would, if, for example, first of all, with someone who is already dry and has appetite problems, that's a great tool, and he needs to be fuller, then small dose like 50 a day can do wonders.
Did you hear that, Stu? The question?
50 a day of what?
Oh,
Anadrol. Prep.
the question was,
Oh,
would you implement Anadrol in prep though?
so I've done that before. I did it in 2022 for the USA's prep. What Blue had me doing, he had me doing like 2 weeks on, 2 weeks off throughout prep of Anadrol. And I think we were only running at 25, not 50. So that you don't
We are in
get
Europe, so
yeah, so you just take more. Yeah, I know.
yeah, as Boston once said that white boys needs to twice much.
Exactly. Yeah, so maybe I fucked up there. I should have been taking like 100 or something, but yeah, and so what we did was like when I was on the Anadrol, we kind of pulled my food down lower and I could maintain more strength and fullness while I was
Yeah.
pushing a little harder and then, pull it out again. And I wouldn't like add food back in, right? But like I'd be able to get through that push, that initial drop. And then at 2 week or excuse me, 4 weeks out, um, so I ran it from like 8 to 6 weeks out, 2 weeks off, and then at 4 weeks out, I did 10 mgs of super draw, and then at 2 weeks out, ramped it up to 20. I
I hate
much
super
prefer to,
draw.
yeah, some people feel like shit on super
I
draw.
can't take it. I
I
can't
love
even
it.
put my
I
foot down.
love it. Do you get like angry or like how do you feel?
No, my stomach can't handle it. There
Oh,
is
yeah.
there is one only drug that my stomach can't handle, and it's Superdrug.
Nick actually told me that once too, because I'd mentioned in some story or something, and he was like, "Dude, I fucking hate that stuff." And I was like, "Damn," he said he had the same issue. It just totally destroyed his stomach.
Super
Um,
Joe?
Yeah.
Yeah.
I was actually
Okay.
using injectable Superdrol primarily when I was in prep. Um, and I think it helps a lot with like maintaining fullness when your food's low. Like a little Halo and Superdrol right before you train when you're like 3 weeks out is like you'll have a pump with no carbs in you. It's like
Mm,
you should be super flat, but you still have like this kind of like drug fullness, you know.
yeah.
Um, I don't know if that makes sense, but you can kind of tell a difference between like, oh, I'm full because I'm ate a bunch of food, or like full because I'm on drugs. It doesn't really last as long after you're training, and yeah,
Man, I gotta be honest. Like I swear, I feel like I look the same on anything. Like
yeah.
I'll pull things out, put, and then I mean like even farm stuff. So it's not like I'm using fake stuff, right? But like I'll pull and add something and take away and add something else, and I'm like, but maybe it's just my eye.
Well,
That's why it's good to.
you're so water retentive, man. It's hard to see those differences until you're like,
Yeah,
5 mgs electro a day and fucking, peaked,
yeah,
right? So
yeah. That's that.
I could
That's the
see
tough
that for
part.
you.
I kind of felt like, okay, let's try Super Draw instead of Halo. Let's try, and I'm like, I kind of think. But when it comes to that, I think I have to continue to get leaner, you know, to maybe see more of the effects, But the dangerous part is like how lean do I have to get to look how I want to look? Because the danger zone is that you do start to lose some muscle and some fullness, and eventually.
Yeah.
So that's the tough part, And it's like that's why it's easy to look at Akeem Williams and be like, he just needs to come peeled, and it's like
No.
I'm sure. Like, I'm sure him and his coaches have tried, but sometimes it's not as simple as you think,
Yeah, but
you know?
every time I see and I hear this question or a statement that you should just come fuller or you should just come leaner, don't you
Not
think
that,
that we are fucking trying to
we,
do it?
you see what I'm saying?
It's our profession to come as lean and as big as we can.
Yeah.
Do
Yeah.
you think that we are dumb enough not to think? We're like, yeah, fuck that shit.
Look,
Especially
coming fat.
pros are like, yeah, fuck it. I'm just going to have a McDonald's because,
I
yeah,
don't
I'm
care.
lean enough.
Well, look at Andrew Jack at the Arnold. He was actually leaner than he was at Texas, but Texas was a better look because
Yeah,
I'd say so, yeah.
yeah, because for the Arnold, that's when he got with Chris, and everybody like, Chris, please just bring him in with shredded glutes. The issue is, how is the rest of his body gonna look? Everybody's not Derek Lunsford or Phil Heath. Everybody can't just be shredded glutes, but you're perfectly full up top and you're round and bubbly. Some people like Andrew or like myself, right? If you or maybe Samson, if you try to bring in their glutes to look like Derek Lunsford, first of all, it won't look like Derek Lunsford. But even if it's hard for their glutes, the rest of their body just fell apart. So is it really the smart thing to do?
Yeah, you remember
Maybe
when
not.
that happened to Ian a bunch?
It did,
Like,
yeah.
he would show up and that one year at the Olympia, he dropped in placings a ton because he was like basically over dieted,
Exactly.
because and he was super hard in the glutes and hams, but he just looked flatter and a little deflated all over the place.
yeah, but he
Mhm.
was as well the guy that always came in a crazy conditioning. And
Yeah,
once he came a little bit bigger, people suddenly said, he's not so lean, even though he was the leanest guy
yeah,
ever.
Yeah,
And
yeah.
still, you won't, you, the thing is that we just will never be enough in someone's eyes. That's why we
No.
should just listen to judges, to our
Mhm.
coach, and that's all. Because
What
always it's going to be someone is always going to find a hole.
the thing is, sometimes even when you listen to judges, sometimes they don't know what they don't know. They're gonna give you the best advice that they believe is true, right? But when I did the cow, they're like 10 pounds lighter, bro, nobody beats you. Trust me. And I kind of agreed. In my head, I'm like, yeah, 10 pounds lighter. Oh, that should blow them away. But if for you to say that coming 10 pounds lighter, but it doesn't necessarily always look how you think it's going to look. I thought I looked better at the cow personally, because at USA, then it's like, oh, but you look super flat. You look pretty fucking flat. Do you look harder? Yes. But you're so flat that the hardness isn't pushing through the way it should. So it's like a live and learn. So I still needed to be lighter for sure, but maybe not 10 pounds, you know.
Yeah,
But
it's
how
the
would you know?
same as you're saying, he came in 98%. How do you
Yeah.
fuck know that he came 98 or 97 or
Get
95 or
punched in
96?
into a
Yeah,
calculator. Like,
it's
shut
like
up.
you can't really say that's the best look. That's why you have to just try and keep trying. It's
Yeah.
not easy to just, especially pick someone that has such problems as you do with holding water.
Yeah,
Man,
dude, bodybuilding commentators are so fucking bad about this. Like, they're like, if he shows up 100%, first of all, nobody ever does.
it's not
So
gonna
like,
happen.
just
Yeah, it's not gonna.
stop it. And then what does 95% mean? Like, you're just like, it doesn't mean anything. It's just things to say because we need things to say.
Yeah, yeah. Remember Big Ramy, right? Like before he won the Olympia, Ramy needs to come 20 pounds lighter. He wins. Chris Aceto brings him in 20 pounds lighter, and guess what happens?
Yep.
Ramy didn't, but I didn't even recognize him. I'm like, who's that guy?
Medium Ramy, yeah.
What the fuck are we looking at? It didn't even look like Ramy. Did he look better? Hell no. Was he technically leaner? He probably was a lot leaner. But guess what? You couldn't even look at him. Be like, what the fuck am I looking at, right? So it's not that. If it was that simple, you're trying to tell me you think the 5 coaches before Chris are stupid? No, that means they probably pulled him in flat and was like, whoa, we don't like how that's looking. Let's bring him in fuller. And then you see him at the Arnold, he looked better than Olympia. The Arnold he did after he lost Olympia. And he was heavier. He was quite a bit heavier, but he looked better because it's not about always lighter or heavier. It's about bringing in the perfect look. You know what I'm
People
saying?
don't get it that it's about the balance, as you said. For example, when the best example was with Dennis Wolf. When he came to stringy, when he came a little bit flat, he lost all his detail. When he came too full, he's lost all of this. I mean, as well, lost his detail and looked watery. So he had to go in the middle, and that was his perfect spot. But once he found out, it took him a little bit of time, and people are always first to criticize. And imagine, and you will see in 2 3 years they're going to say that Ramy's physique was great and so on. Once
Of
he's
course.
gone, the same as they are doing now with Phil Heath. Suddenly
Of course.
Phil is great, suddenly Phil is like a legend, when they were bashing him all over the place, that he, and even though when we look at Phil like 11 and 13, for me, those are one of the best bodybuilding's physique ever,
For sure.
which what I mean, because he was the most complete. He
100%.
has no
100%.
lacks, he had no holes nowhere in his physique.
No, yeah. Perfect, yeah. Gentlemen, my battery is dying. I'm going hypo. I can see Ken's forehead is sweating somewhere in his house. I can see his forehead. I can see his forehead getting shiny from his home.
Poor
So
Ken.
great great podcast, gentlemen. Happy birthday, Stu. I'm gonna remind me to send you that fentanyl.
Fentanyl,
I'm
yes.
sorry. Phentamine or fentanyl? Which one you prefer? Both. I'll send you both. Fuck it.
Yes,
How
both,
was
yeah.
it? How did you
Uppers
call
and
it?
downers.
The kit, the
The care
Fentanyl?
package. Care package.
the care package. Yeah.
Yeah, care package, exactly. So,
For
all right,
legal
gentlemen.
purposes, we are not drug traffickers. So
Oh,
with
not at
that,
all.
let's get out of here.
We're joking. I'm not sending Stu anything. I'm gonna send Stu some, I don't know, fucking
Chocolates. I like
Haribo.
chocolates.
peptides from Revolution. What's it called again?
I
From
forgot. Revolution source.
Revolution Research Peptides. That's what I'm sending you,
Okay.
Stu. It's perfectly legal. This is legal stuff we're talking about here.
Ish.
Yeah, I mean, ish. But all right,
Not for
gentlemen.
use by human.
Yeah, I mean, he's not gonna take it. He's
Hey,
gonna do he's gonna run trials. He'll take it to the lab and do research with it. You know.
He's
I'm
in
not
the
even
process of
human. I
his
go to the vet.
balloony dinosaur.
Yeah, but actually, Stu legally, Stu isn't. He's not human legally.
Mhm.
Stu is not a human being, so he's allowed to take it legally.
I go to the vet.
All right, gentlemen. Thanks for coming on, man.
Thank you.